Welcome to Spiritual Debriefing. I am Daniel Meadows. We have been away for a while. A lot going on in life, and glad to be back. With me to my left is the one and only.
I'm Jed.
What up, Jed?
Jed.
What's up, buddy?
Everything's great.
Fantastic.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. Why complain?
That's right.
Yeah, nobody listens.
No.
That's true.
It's great. We're here.
And if they do listen, they use logic to make it sound better.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would we take that from you, man?
All right.
Don't do that. Mm-hmm. And to my left,
Ooh, Derek.
What's up, Derek?
Derek.
Hey,
And then to my left is my boy.
Wyatt.
Whoa.
Wyatt.
Yeah.
Wyatt's back.
Good to have you back,
he's
bud.
getting to
Yeah,
be a
finally.
regular.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally.
Yep. Back from their hunting trip a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
That was a good time.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You can see my fear of heights.
Eaten any of that deer meat yet?
Yeah, we had deer tacos
All right.
Tuesday. On Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
Where's my hamburger?
That's in the freezer.
All right, so you got one for me.
Yeah.
All right.
I got you.
I knew he's my sweetheart.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Man, it was a good time. I mean, it was, and he has no fear of heights. I thought he would, but my buddy set all these tree stands up, and I sat in the shortest one down from the ground.
So you sat on the ground.
Yeah, pretty much.
I sat on the second highest.
Okay.
Yeah, I went with
you
him
go.
that one day because he was mostly hunting with my buddy Chris, and went up there and I looked up. Nope, ain't happening. I'll stand right here. He went up on a tree stand.
So we know who's more of a man.
That's right.
It's always me. I told him.
I like the ground blinds.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't need no book.
All right.
To my left is
Ray over here again, pushing buttons and watching the dials bounce up and down over here.
What's up, Ray?
You know, been good.
Good.
Yep. You know, I pretended to do this a couple of times while we weren't visiting just to keep myself fresh, and just sat there at home and just talked into a microphone, and
Oh, good.
yeah.
Well, you look fresh. You got a new haircut.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you answer yourself, though, when you talked into it?
No, I couldn't hear myself.
Okay, good. So you're not completely
No,
crazy.
no, not
Okay.
completely crazy. Yeah.
Did you record it?
Huh? Yes.
Because I really want to hear it.
We hear those.
And it was still 2 hours long.
It definitely was. Definitely was.
Can you put those out?
Yeah, those will be the special releases later again for members only. Well, to my left we have
I'm Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Randy.
Good to see you, bud.
They still kicked me out.
yeah. We need somebody who got some quotes to
I
look
know.
for us.
Say, Randy, what do we say at the end of all that intro?
Glad you're listening, guys.
There you go.
Yes, excellent. That's exactly nailed it.
Crush
That is a start.
Gotta earn my keep somehow.
Yep.
Go
Well,
for it, Ray.
Thank you all for tuning in again, and for all y'all listening out there, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment, just a random one, and then leave another random comment, and then leave the real comment you wanted to leave, because that'll help get it pushed out there. So comment down your own comment if you want. Send us some questions. You can always reach out to us at Ray at Spiritual Debriefing. And let's, without further ado, let's get this on the road.
Man, you
So,
do
hey.
a real good job at that.
You
I don't want
do,
to take
man.
it from you.
Thank you.
Well, he
I-
practices a lot at home.
Yeah.
He did it at home.
That was the 2 hours.
2 hours
Yeah,
just
real
him
good.
Over and over again. Yep.
He'd play the intro.
Yep. And doing Daniel's
Say
intro.
welcome.
Just so
Yeah,
yep.
do
Whenever
my
I gotta
intro.
take that over.
and then would do the,
Just do the socials, loop it.
and then that'd be it for 2 hours.
And Daniel hasn't been here either. You had your teacher meetings and
Yeah, it's been a long time.
That's right,
for
'cause-
me. I had
And you ran from the cops in what, Memphis?
teacher
Memphis.
meetings and
I'm sorry. I mean, you ran for kids in Memphis.
yeah. So teacher meetings and then we've been away for a while with just life in general. I think ran the St. Jude Marathon in Memphis first weekend of December, like December 2nd, something like that, and. So
How was that?
lot going on. Man, it was good. Weather was definitely not what you would think for December. You know, I was out there in just shorts and like my regular race wear, like my shorts and a t-shirt.
so it was good.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that in December?
Nothing, but usually in December running, you've got like a pullover on because it's a little bit chilly.
Not all of us have built-in insulation.
Yeah.
That's two things I don't do: run and have a pullover.
So,
But yes,
no,
I
it
do
was-
have all the insulation.
It was
I
good.
give you all good tips. It's free. I mean,
I would recommend for any runners that we have listening, I would recommend going to run that race.
Yeah, because you mentioned something at the end of the race, what they do at St. Jude. Did they do that this year?
So they changed it up this year. Actually, it was a different course. You run through the St. Jude Plaza about mile 10. So before the half marathoner split off from you. Actually, probably even before that, mile 9 maybe. And so when I ran through, when we ran through, they had a few kids out, but then they had kids in the windows looking out. And so it was kind of cool to see that early on in the race. You know, I think I probably personally would have enjoyed it more towards the end, because towards the end is when you hit that wall and you're like, why am I doing this? This is the dumbest decision ever. And that would be a great reminder. Hey, you're doing this for
The kids.
for the kids, you know. But it was cool to see, and neat. There was probably like a dozen kids out in the plaza and their families, but then there was the windows were full of people.
Now, do you ever get to know the number that was raised for them?
So they said it that day. When we ran the race, their goal was 15 million, I think. And when we ran the race, we were at 14.5 or 14.6.
Wow.
But they said that there were donations given while the race was going on as well, and people buying stuff off their website and everything that went towards that race. And then they said, like, I think the final number was over the 15 million mark.
Wow. That's awesome.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
so it's it was cool. I'll probably go run it again. I don't know when though. Not next year.
so we got our
I'm gonna
own
go-
$1 million man right here.
I'm gonna go run. My next marathon will be Oklahoma City, and it's called Run to Remember. And for the first, if I remember correctly, for like the first 2 miles, it's nothing but silence, just as a remembrance from the Oklahoma City bombing back in 1990.
Okay. Yep.
So that'll be another good kind of race to run. That's kind of the races I'm looking for. So if we have race enthusiasts out there, marathons and half marathons mainly that I'm looking for to run are ones that go to causes like that. You know, I go run the Hero Half in Fayetteville every year, which goes to the Firefighter Foundation there in Fayetteville, and I'm just I'm overrunning the local, go back to the city parks recreation. You know, I want to go to bigger causes with my runs now.
Hey, yeah, use it for good.
So,
right? It can benefit not just you.
So if you're listening to us and you know of any good races out there, send that to Ray so he can give that to you.
Yeah, I'll make sure I share it with Daniel and everybody listening.
Or leave a comment for us because, like I said, I'm going to go run OKC, and then my goal is to do a marathon in every state that touches Arkansas, and then I'll branch out from there. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, for folks that like running. That's
Yeah.
good.
Or put it out there. They want to donate to your cause too.
Yeah, I don't have anything set up right now for St. Jude. I did, and I should have given that to Ray to send out to our listeners. But yeah,
If you ever get something set up, we'll make sure we post
if I
and
get
share
some
it.
sort of
Yeah.
if I get some sort of running, I don't know how all that works. 501c type of stuff.
Yeah, you probably could. You probably set up a not Patreon, but what's the other one? There's a couple other sites you
Yeah.
could probably set something up through.
I've got a buddy that he's a runner, and he's a battalion chief for Cabot Fire Department. He was hired on underneath my dad, so we're pretty good friends. And he does sort of the same stuff as I do as far as running, and he's got kind of that set up to where people can give to him, and that kind of helps cover his races and goes to good causes and stuff like that. So,
All right.
but yeah, so
What
Yeah,
about
that's
you,
fun.
Jetty? What have you been up to?
trying to run a tractor.
Just working.
Round and round.
Hadn't been doing no round and round.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
maintenance time right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, because all the hay's done, right?
Hay's done.
Now it's just keep an eye on the cows and
A lot of feeding.
fixing everything.
A lot of feeding.
A lot of ranger riding.
A little.
Little. You need
Little.
to make it a lot.
It's getting ready to be.
Okay.
Fence building time, too.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Did you pull those posts?
Not yet.
Oh.
That comes probably about Monday.
Oh, okay.
Does Kobe know how to build fence?
If he doesn't, he will by the time we're done.
Hey, that's good off-season training. You know?
That's right.
That's what's
right.
funny because Autumn worked with me a little bit this afternoon.
Yeah.
Because she's working back at the ranch for the winter break. And she goes, Dad, I kind of miss building fence. I'm like, no, you don't.
No,
Well,
definitely not.
her fence building, didn't they take all the barbed wire down and just put up electric wire? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Putting up barbed wire is a whole different ball game.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know it
That
when
was
you're
a fun
done.
way to do it. Yeah,
And you know when you do it and it breaks, it hurts.
it hurts.
Hit the ground.
Yep.
Yes.
You'll always
Yes.
remember that part.
Yes.
So was high tension steel.
Oh my goodness.
The stuff for our horses. That wasn't fun either.
I bet.
I think I'd still rather do that than the barbed wire though,
I would too.
because running that barbed wire is just miserable.
Yeah, especially if you gotta get some like real sharp stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, the cattle stuff or whatever. That'll get you. It'll
yeah.
get you, but at least it ain't the like razor wire or
The,
nothing crazy.
the,
But
the worst of the barbed wire though was when you were taking it down because you had to replace it. And some
Yeah.
jerk up the way like snipped it on you and didn't even warn you. It like
Oh,
comes
yeah.
flying back
rusty barbed wire flying around.
right into your back.
Yep.
Just like a taser.
Just
Something like-
wraps around you.
Yeah.
I'll just say you don't want to build fences in the jungle. That's no fun at all because then you have to clear your space to build your fence first, right? Just chopping and cutting, and that was no fun at all. That was no fun.
Why would you build a fence in the jungle anyways?
Pigs, keeping the pigs out. So many wild pigs out there, and then you had to do your fence with barbed wire, and then to keep the pigs out, you had to take another set of chain link fence and fold it in half, and do it half on the bottom and then half across the ground.
So they couldn't dig.
Yep, so they couldn't dig. So you had 3 feet of fence on the ground, and then you covered that with dirt and rocks, all the stuff you dug up and moved so you could build the fence in the first place. You just piled it all back on that part you buried. That'll
Yeah.
keep the pigs
Just sit out there and shoot
I
the
don't
pigs.
think I like that.
Yeah, it was great times. Because, of course, you only cleared just enough space for you to work, too. So you're sitting there trying to do all this, and you got 3 feet out plus a 6 inches because you're like, I'm not clearing any more jungle than I have to.
Yeah.
So
think
so
at
what
that
I'm
point-
what I'm hearing is call Ray to build fence.
You need some fence.
It sounds like it.
You need people kept out. I'll
What
keep
I'm
them
hearing
out.
is you need to hire a sniper and just take out pigs.
Yeah, well, there are people you can do that out in Hawaii,
Have some-
too.
Yeah,
have
there's
some
that.
bacon.
There's some bacon.
There are a couple guys. That's all they make their money is they're hired hunters. We actually had where the coffee farm was. One of the families who lived on the hill. That was their job for the whole hillside. They did all the pig hunting. So if you saw pigs, you called them up, and there they came with their dogs and their crossbows and they'd all bow and arrow too. They love doing bow and
That
arrow.
sounds like a horrible job.
So they had their dogs. Did they run them into like a cage and trap them and then shoot them, or they just let the dogs?
Dogs would
go-
help suss them out, chase them around, find because it was
yeah,
again
yeah, I
they're
know what
chasing
you
through
mean.
jungle.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they'd usually get them with the bow and arrow, and then they'd come back later and be like, "We just did all the Kailua pork. How much you want?" And we'd buy the pork back from them too. Wow. So
Because
they don't make tons of money doing it, but they survive. It's how you survive.
Because we had a guy down in South Arkansas that I'd go pig hunt with every once in a while, and he had dogs, and so we would run dogs, and they would do, the ones that sniff them out, and then the attack dogs.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh yeah.
have you seen those where you have that second one that you send out, and
Yeah.
then you go in and you
Oh yeah, but because there's a couple of guys
That
who'll
was
do it
fun.
that way too, because they've trained their dogs to just basically hamstring the back legs, so
Oh,
the
man,
pig just
that
can't
was-
run. They don't tear them up, so they
yeah.
don't damage the meat. The dogs will just come in, tear
They
up their
get the
back legs, so
back
the
legs,
pig can't
yeah.
run, and then they come up on it and finish it off.
that was a blast.
Yeah, yeah.
You talk about adrenaline rush.
Oh,
that
heck
was
yeah.
it right there.
Heck yeah.
Close and personal.
Yep.
Because you're just waiting to hear the dogs bark and then come up on the radar, and you're like, all right, here we go.
Here they are. Let's head
Let's
after
do
'em.
this.
I'm gonna do
Yep.
that.
Hey, I know a guy. If you want to go out to Hawaii and hunt some pigs, you can hire him.
It's top of the tree for that.
I know a guy in South Arkansas if you don't want to go all the way to Hawaii to do it.
Right.
I do
Right.
both.
I remember my dad used to go to Texas every year and would hunt pigs, bow hunt out of a tree stand. pigs, and he said that same place that he would go do that, they would do helicopter ones.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be
And you'd go
awesome.
snipe
I
out of
would
a
do
helicopter,
that.
and I was like,
Yeah.
why didn't you ever do that? And
Yep.
it was always on my birthday weekend, so I was like, why did you never take me?
Why didn't
That's
we
what
go?
I want to know.
If there's any listeners that want to donate to that, I'd love to do that.
Or if you have a helicopter,
Yeah, right, right. Yep, that could be a good
that
time.
would be fun.
Could be a good
That
time.
podcast bonding.
Right.
All of us go.
Guest speakers not allowed.
Ooh.
hey, I come here pretty often, so I'm not a guest anymore.
I promise.
Second time.
Right.
Security
No.
training, right?
Oh, you were here 1 week when I was gone, weren't you?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
was here
Okay.
when Dad was gone. I was here when you were gone, and then I'm
There you
here
go.
again. So.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
He's
So
becoming a semi-regular.
Yeah.
we'll let semi-regulars, I guess.
Let's go.
They'll be
We
the
need-
first ones that if we need to lighten the load.
Right. We need somebody to run the podcast gear while they're out there doing the
Right,
podcasts
see?
and doing the hunting.
Actually, I may do that.
We promise we'll do an episode if you send us out.
Yeah. We did a lot of hunting this year.
Yeah, that's good. That's
That's
good.
awesome.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get into it. I just have not been able to yet. Just haven't. So it'll happen maybe.
And it's not over yet.
No, it's true.
No,
It's
there's-
true.
Bo
And Harmony
goes-
wants to too. Harmony
Bo
really
goes
wants
to
to.
all the way
Well,
to
it's good through
February.
February. I got a huge 10 point running around the house somewhere, so I'm
Yeah.
waiting.
I caught
Waiting.
dibs.
No, sir.
I just got Harmony her bow for Christmas. I know she doesn't listen to this, so she's okay. But yeah, she's gonna unwrap her new bow and arrow for Christmas. So Wendy was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "That's what I'm doing."
Yeah. That's what we did it with him.
Yep, she's getting a bow and
It
arrow.
was my birthday.
No, it was your birthday. Sorry.
Yep, and she wants it too. She's wanted one for a while ever since she shot one in American Heritage Girls. She was like, "I want one." I'm
Yeah.
like, all
They're,
right.
they're
Just
a lot
shoot
of
'em.
fun.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all shoot them over at Siloam or what?
Yeah, yep.
Did you?
Talking about Asylum. She actually got first place for her age group shooting the bow. She actually hit the target a couple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lucked out too because I got went down at Bass Pro for Black Friday. They had a
Yeah.
good deal on the bow, and then they had a deal on the shooting blocks, right?
Right.
But they'd put the wrong blocks under the sign. So when I was ringing it up, it still came up at like $150 or something. I was like, the sign said 50. I was looking for that one, and it was chaos. And the dude tried to call his manager, and she wasn't answering. And finally, he was just like, "Whatever, $50. There you go." I'm like, "Sweet."
That one will last a long time.
Yep, I said excellent. Yeah, it's like a good 3 foot tall one with both sides and the whole nine. I'm like, yeah, she'll have that for a long time.
Is it a solid block?
Yeah, solid
Oh,
block.
yeah.
It's got got the big target on one side and the 5 little targets on the other. And so yeah,
You use that for a crossbow too.
Should be
Yeah.
solid there.
oh yeah, she should be real good. She'll be good for a long while there. So when he's like, she's gonna kill somebody, she can't shoot that in our backyard. I'm like, it'll be fine.
That's how I grew up.
yeah, I'm like, it'll be fine.
Then when I wanted distance, I opened the gate
Yeah.
and then
Well,
shoot on the sidewalk through the gate.
Plus, if they're on our property, I mean, that's I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
Hey, trespassing.
When it ricochets off the fence, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll be just fine though.
I gave Haley a bow when she was about Harmony's age, and she shot 2 arrows down to the target, and I went down and I said, "All right, just hold off. Let me go get your arrows." She had 1 arrow left, and I said, "Just hold off. Let me go get these, and we'll start over, and we'll do 3." Got to the target. I turned around. She was already and that arrow. I'm a big boy. The wind came right across that big belly, and I mean it hit right there. And I was get in the house, put it up.
You're done.
You're done. Yeah. She goes, "I didn't hear you. How do you not hear me?"
Yeah, and you see
We
me.
are 10 yards away from each other. I don't think she ever picked up a bow again. And if she did, I was on the other side of her.
Yeah, she didn't do it in your presence.
So, yeah, that was my close encounter of losing weight quick.
Right.
Would you get her a compound bow?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
that'd be
Nice
good.
compound bow. It's it's a little bit big for her, but not too much. She'll be able to pull it. So
Yeah.
it'll be good.
It'll be fun.
It'll last her a while.
What kind
Yep.
is it?
I don't remember the brand. It's not a super fancy one or nothing. It's one of the kids brand type ones.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, no.
but
I
still
think it's
good.
I think it's great. I think every parent should get their kid into stuff like that.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. I want to get her a 22 as well, but I figure I'm gonna start with the bow and teach her bow safety and all that. And then
get-
once she's got that down, then I'll do the 22.
Get her the Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah, I want to get her
Start
one of
with
those too. Yeah, I want to get her one of those
You
too.
lie out.
Probably will, but that's all right. Yep. And the only thing I'm actually worried about is just trying to make sure that she knows to make sure the dogs are inside before she starts trying to shoot her bow, because the dogs are dumb. They will just be like, "I'll catch it."
Yeah, you will, dog. You will catch it.
Can we barbecue this?
First kill, Dad. Look, first kill.
Yep. I'm just like, make sure the dogs are inside before
Can you get
begin.
another couple of those? I like those moving targets.
Yep.
Dig
Right.
the pit, light the fire.
Right. Yeah. Not much meat on those. Not much meat. We got little dogs.
Appetizers.
Yep. Just appetizers.
What's wrong, Wyatt? He's about to lose it over
he
there.
is. Once he starts laughing, you can't make him stop.
I'm waiting for Hannah to come over with her 4-wheeler where I can ride with her.
The battery was dead, and we took it to charge it this morning. Or I took it into the shop and had it charged this morning. And Dad, can we ride it right now? I'm like, I gotta get cleaned up and go to podcast. And I'm like, fine. Ride about 2 or 3 laps around the neighborhood here. And so she needs that much land out there to ride.
That way she can have more fun.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah. And we don't have to worry about cars and whatever else she wants to run over.
Cats and dogs.
Yeah. But yeah, she enjoys that thing.
Speed bump.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, because you're giving her to her the next day,
Yeah.
right, from the birthday party.
Well, we actually, I couldn't wait no more. After y'all left, I'm like, go out in the garage. So it was funny because, it was later in the evening after everybody left.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to go to bed when y'all left. Dad, can I go out in the garage and practice shifting those gears? Bye. Go do it.
Enjoy.
Yeah. I don't know how long she stayed out there, but
That's awesome.
the next few days we just did not have time to go ride it. So Dad, can I go out in the garage and shift gear? Go for it. I don't care.
I remember my time. I got a 3-wheeler. That's what back in the day.
Oh,
the little
yeah.
Honda 110 3-wheeler.
Those little-
Death trap.
Three-wheeler.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait,
Oh,
is
yeah.
that one in the front?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
seems fun.
They stopped making them because so many people died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death trap.
But that's what we rode, and I did the same thing. It was in our backyard. We grew up in the city. I sit there and rum. Didn't go nowhere. And my dad goes, those are air cooled, right? Like you have to go somewhere to ride it. I'm like, well, this sucks. We had to go right at the river bottoms,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
20 miles away or 20 minutes away,
Dang.
but yeah, I did the same thing. Let me just go out there and practice this thing. And
Yeah.
We had a big red.
the big red,
Yeah.
yep.
The big red 3-wheeler?
Yeah.
My biggest 3-wheeler that I had was that 250. Is it 250R? I think that was a 2-stroke, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Man, that sucker was awesome.
Never did see those.
I wish they still make those.
Those were the 80s.
No, because I did lose it.
I do remember the
Yeah, you
3-wheelers.
whoops. Oh, yeah. And then all of a
Whoops,
sudden-
I lost the rear end and then went right over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and you-
That
and
rear
you
end
get
slid.
to-
Yep.
You're
I was
gone.
about to say we would get out on them and we'd tear.
Drift.
Oh, you drifted.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
They were a lot of fun.
Yep.
They were.
And
Yeah,
Oh,
we
they were a
just-
blast. Oh, they were a blast. It just
Then
looking back, I'm like, how did I live through that?
Well, the first side by side came out,
Yeah.
which I always thought of was the Honda Odyssey. That was like your first side by side because it was a single pilot with a roll cage.
Yeah.
And I wanted one of those so bad. Never got one.
Poor baby.
Yeah, I know. I've never owned a side by side either.
I didn't get to ride a 4-wheeler
You're
until
nice.
I was in Hawaii. So that
Really?
wasn't until I was
Yeah.
managing a farm in Hawaii, and when the dude was like, "Oh yeah, there's a 4-wheeler you can use around the property on," and he wasn't even there. Right, this was when the guy had to fly off the island all of a sudden, and I was managing his farm out of nowhere, and I was like, okay, I'll figure out how to ride this thing. I'll figure out how to ride this thing. Took me a little bit, but I got it sorted out. Tell you, shifting gears on a hill is no fun though. Like,
No.
the entire place, every time I parked it, I was like, make sure you park facing downhill because if you park facing uphill, I'll just be like, let me jerk this thing around.
For too long, he was joining the X game.
Yeah, no, it was that's to say Harmony. She probably don't remember it much now, but Wendy saw how I tore around some of those farm fields with little tiny Harmony on the seat in front of me on there, and she's just go faster, Daddy, go faster.
I think I'd still rather have a 4-wheeler than a side by side though.
I don't know.
Not once you
Oh,
get.
I mean,
love-
truly, you want both.
Side by side.
Truly, yeah, you
like,
want
I've-
both.
They both
Yeah.
have applications. They really do.
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed the 4-wheeler.
Right?
Yeah, but
and
if
there's
you
still
had,
a part of me that still enjoys that.
yeah, but if you had a Razor or like something like that, a fast side by side,
maybe,
those things are fun in the desert. I will tell you.
I bet.
Like
I bet.
they are fun.
maybe.
See,
Fast enough to
I'd
do
have
something
to get.
stupid with.
Yep.
I'd have to get a nice, big, comfortable side by side so I can take my wife out with me when I go places.
And,
Like at the
and that's where I'm
Can-Am.
like,
You get the Can-Am.
Them Rangers are nice for
Yep.
that.
4-wheeler, I get to go ride by myself.
Right,
If we get a
exactly.
side by
That's the
side.
thing.
Taylor's gonna want to go all the time. So
And you got to have both, so you can be like,
guess you gotta have both. Okay.
Yeah, my next one will be a general. I hear you have both the best worlds. You
My
have
buddy has a
utility and the speed, and I think that's my next one.
you know
That
what I was.
four-seater Ranger was really nice, but I think I'm ready for some speed in my life.
What I was checking out at Cabela's in Missouri when we were on our way back is those new hunting e-bikes. Have you seen those things?
Oh, those
Those
e-bikes.
look super
Oh, my
cool.
God.
Yeah,
Oh
for
man,
like
if you're going out
$5,000?
hunting, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
they're
But
not
still,
I
even
spend
expensive.
$5,000 on a bicycle.
I'm just saying though, if you're gonna go out hunting with your crossbow, I mean, talk about like ninja hunting. They'd have no clue you're coming. Just
$5,000 on a bike isn't nothing. Just go over there to Bentonville. and
I know,
look at
right?
bikes.
You look at
the
I know,
bicycles
it's so
they have
true.
over there.
I won't do it.
You can get a non-electric bike for $5,000
Yeah.
over there.
You're gonna have the deer laughing at him. Look at that dude. If I get shot by him, that's just crazy.
Well, here's a question for Game and Fish: is it illegal to shoot off a bicycle?
Yeah, I don't even
I
know.
don't know.
E-bike.
Right by.
I have a former student that's Game of Fish. I can text him.
Honestly, if you've got the skill to shoot a bow from a bike while it's moving, I think they should just let you go.
So you're saying you're not Tom Cruise?
Right? No.
I will say that it probably depends on if it has pedals or no pedal version.
Yep, it might.
I bet you that it'll come
Or-
down
I
to.
bet it does.
I
Yeah.
bet it will.
It'll probably read something like if it has a motor. Yeah, those e-bikes have a little motor.
Because I've
in them,
always wanted to hunt off a horseback.
which you can do.
Yeah, you can do that.
My horse was actually trained for that,
Yeah, that'd be
which
cool.
was amazing.
I'll leave it alone.
Cool little. What? Go ahead, say it.
Nah.
Yeah. Go ahead, say
Speaking of
it.
the Roman Empire,
I was gonna say he's watched too many movies like Dances with Wolves.
You're right.
He had his chance, but he got rid of his horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he was side by side now.
Yeah.
A lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Feed, gas, it's about the same now.
it's true. I got a nice electric
Gas
horse.
doesn't have to be as constant as feet.
Well, but it probably cost as much as what I'm saying.
I don't know about that.
Really?
Because
Feed's gotten bad lately, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got to get a tractor. Then you got to get everything else. Yeah.
I'd still be okay with it.
Okay.
Get a tractor, man. Come on.
Again, that's why you just need both: the horse, the side by side,
Right.
the 4-wheeler, the e-bike. I mean, come on, we're dreaming here.
Right.
If we're dreaming here, the
think
mansion.
I
the,
don't think I dream about it.
what
Anyway,
else are we needing?
We're talking about Christmas, right?
Yeah.
We're just talking about our Christmas wish list for all of our listeners out there.
Yeah, my wife don't listen, so I mean,
Please, somebody send Ray an e-bike so we can quit hearing about it.
but don't get me wrong, those bikes do look cool.
No, they look cool.
Yeah,
I
they
know.
do look cool.
They look cool.
That'd be
Yep.
a bunch of fun.
I see those hunting videos and those guys doing that.
Yep.
You know, I'm like, man, that's kind of cool.
Do they shoot off the bike?
No.
No, but they got the little sled you can even get for them, so you can tow your game out too. Yeah,
That's
I seen the guys that they brought the deer corn out there and
yeah,
on that little sled.
yep.
And
Yeah.
how big are these bikes?
They're big.
They're pretty big.
They're
inside.
pretty big
Yeah.
tires like that.
Big
I mean,
fat
they're
tires,
big
big fat
tires.
Just say
batteries.
haul a deer out. That's got to be something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a reason they're $5,000. They're
Yeah.
not just for the name or something silly.
Yeah.
Yep. No, they're pretty cool.
The wife goes, well, why don't we just make one?
Can I?
Yeah, I think you only need a couple more tools, and then you can.
That's my electrical engineer right there.
I have the skills.
Yeah, see?
Hey, what was it you wanted to make for our Christmas party for youth?
Plasma thruster.
A plasma thruster.
He
Okay.
goes, "Can I bring a plasma thruster for my gift?" I was like, "No," and he goes, "I'll make it. It'll be under $10." I was like, "No."
Take it.
And you want to know what this kid does on his free time. Researches all that.
What's-
Hey, don't let them say no to you. Build it if you want to.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just show it up with it like, hey, Daniel.
When I was about Wyatt's age, I had the Anarchist Cookbook.
The what?
It's called the Anarchist Cookbook, and you go through it and it teaches how to build all kinds of random, how to build a taser at home, how to build a.
Hey, Dad, touch it.
Thanks, Ray.
Yep.
We're gonna have our own GRU right here.
Tells you all kinds of fun things that aren't necessarily quote unquote easy to procure or legal. So
Daniel may get a taser for Christmas.
We're gonna hear this taser.
I built this out of a potato.
Memories to that.
Hey,
I'm not a fan
that's
of
what we
that
did
one.
at Science
I love
today.
it. Yeah.
We were grabbing
nice.
potatoes and lemons and then making stuff like the light and the clock.
Yeah,
will-
electrified with the
Yeah?
acidity. Yep.
How does that work?
Not right now. I'm not in school right now.
Well, I know
No,
it's not working right now. We don't have it.
Why?
but-
The proper response is, I don't want to bore our listeners with technical details.
Just take my word, it works.
especially when it's the science teacher that asks.
Yeah.
Why do we have one?
I thought he taught PE.
Good stuff.
Graduated.
Me too.
She was the janitor.
It's only fifth grade science for me though, so
Oh, okay.
we don't get into potatoes and clocks and all that stuff.
Yep. Yep.
We,
so
we
you
talk-
wouldn't know.
no, you're right. No,
No plasma thrustal.
no, we talk about dead things.
Yeah, you forgot too. We're doing a Christian podcast, so the answer is God. How does that work? God.
Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, we talk about dead things and matter and stuff in fifth grade.
Dylan, I matter.
What?
Right.
Not that kind of matter.
Any cool plans for Christmas?
No.
No.
Nope. Just hanging out.
That's what we're doing too. Sometimes I enjoy those smaller ones.
Yep.
We had a small Thanksgiving this year. Our smallest one that we've ever had. It was just Crystal's parents over. That was it. But I want to say that was probably more enjoyable. Like it was just really nice and mellow, and really got to spend time talking.
You know why? It was better because I played the guitar in the background.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
That's it.
He set the mood.
Yeah, he set the mood.
That's very nice.
Kumbaya.
I think that means for our intro, we're going to need to start having live music.
Yeah, we can have Wyatt play live.
No, there you go.
You got to do the little, whatever the intro is.
I can figure it out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we had our smallest Thanksgiving we'd had in forever too, because Harmony was sick and Wendy was sick, and so
Yeah.
we just stayed home with the three of us. But it was still good.
yeah.
It was still really good.
I wish we did.
Yeah, it was
did
good.
not.
We were going to go over to the Brysons again. They have great Thanksgiving over at their house though, so
Yeah.
we were bummed we couldn't make it over there though.
Yeah.
Is what it
Merry.
is. Is what it is.
More the merrier.
That's where I didn't get invited.
Me
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Wow.
We talked
What about
about
you,
it,
Jed?
but
No.
Did y'all
I
get
didn't
invited?
invite anybody.
Nope.
She said that she took care of all of it. And all you got to do is sit down. You can watch football if you want. And I said, "That's the first year I've ever heard that. I'm gonna take up on
Take
it."
it. Take it.
sounds good to me.
And then I was seeing who's playing football, and I was like, "Yeah, what do you want done?"
Well, they play every year, so it's like
Yeah.
there's no surprise.
Yeah.
Well, there was 3 games, wasn't there?
There were three
Yeah,
games
there's
this
3
year. Yeah,
games,
there were
yeah.
3 games
And I
this
didn't
year.
like
which-
any of them.
The
Detroit-
Cowboys and the Lions always
Yeah,
play.
they always play every Christmas, and then the rest or not
every
Christmas,
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, and then who
And
they
whoever-
play changes.
yeah.
Tampa
Yeah.
Bay didn't
And then-
play, so I didn't want to watch
And
it.
then once in a blue moon, you'll have Dallas and the Lions. Like you'll have Cowboys Lions play each other in a game.
Really?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's once
Every
in a
now
blue
and again.
moon.
Every now and again. Yep. Yep.
No, man, the Lions are playing good this year too, and Cowboys.
Cowboys are too.
Man,
Yeah, Cowboys are too.
Been a lot of upsets this
Yeah,
season.
there has been.
Yeah.
Especially recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
It's interesting.
Cowboys finally got a team that meshes together, though.
Yeah.
Finally,
Yeah. My team's
Yeah.
in the run for the playoffs. Hopefully.
are they?
The
Don't they have
Broncos.
And the Broncos are.
Well, it's not the
Cowboys have
Cardinals.
Westbrook. What's his name?
Who do they play this week?
OU. Yeah,
I don't remember.
I can check.
I can't remember. I thought it was
no,
Kansas.
CeeDee Lamb. That's who it was.
Was it
CeeDee
Kansas
Lamb.
City
Okay.
this week?
Yeah.
They beat him once.
Yeah, I know.
I was bummed about that.
So, well, here's the crazy thing though is Cowboys just beat the Eagles this past week, like great too by 20 points. But then if the Eagles win out, even if Dallas wins out, if the Eagles win out, they win the division.
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
I don't know how they do that.
And if you look at the Eagles conference, like the games that they have left, they're cupcakes. And you look at what Dallas has left.
right.
And Dallas is going to have to fight for the last 3 games.
Yeah, but I think it's because didn't Dallas have a rough start? They just kind of started off a little rougher. So
Not really.
yeah, I don't know. I don't pay that close attention to any other teams.
No,
But
it was-
Okay. So the Broncos and the Lions.
okay. Ooh. But
Let's go, Lions.
but it's in Detroit, right? I think that's in Detroit.
Dude, I don't know. They just tell me the.
all right, there's usually a way to tell, but it's all good.
I don't have the premium version. I just have the.
Of what? ESPN?
No,
But it don't matter. It's going to be a
NFL.
tough game.
It is. It is. And I think I got Detroit winning that game, actually.
We'll see.
We do a, like at school, we do a fantasy football pick'em, like
yeah.
the Yahoo football
Yep.
pick'em, which is great because I don't have to sit through a fantasy draft. And each week I just pick
Just
what
pick
team
something.
wins. And
Yeah.
and so I don't remember if I got Detroit winning that game or not. So if I do, it's because it is at Detroit, I think. So.
I never.
No
get
big
to-
Christmas
to watch
plans?
them again.
No, not really. We're kind of stick around.
Nice.
We'll go down to her parents like we do every year. The biggest thing we do around Christmas, and that's normal for us. So our biggest Christmas stuff is Christmas with my dad, which is what the Memphis thing was this year. And then like next year we'll go to Branson. So that's kind of the big thing we do. Generally, it's just kind of small.
Yeah.
Kind of hang out with her parents and the in-laws, and then we'll go down to see my mom one day over the break. But this year for Christmas, we're not even doing like gifts for the whole family. So for spring break, we're gonna go up to Branson, and so we decided this year we're just gonna buy tickets for experiences. And so like one of us, I think we're gonna buy Queen Esther tickets to Sight and Sound Theater, and then
It's pretty good.
it's great. We've gone before. It's good. And then so we're just gonna buy different show tickets. Like each member
That's
of the
kinda
family's
cool.
buying show
Yeah.
tickets for just kind of something different.
Cool.
Because we're tired of getting the same old and dust collector. So we're like, let's do experiences instead.
Yep, that's actually one of the things we did too. We got
So
some of the season tickets or whatever for
Yeah.
for the whole shebang up in Branson
Yeah,
for
so,
Silver Dollar City,
yeah,
and for it
the
includes tickets to the shows too, and some other
so
stuff too.
We'll go to like the aquarium and all that. That's
Yep.
there. And which Taylor and I, we've always been different. We've never been one of those like big gift people on holidays and anniversaries and stuff. It's just been kind of throughout the year. If either one of us says, "Ooh, that's kind of nice," we'll just buy it right then and there, right?
yeah,
And so the big thing though this year is I'm finishing our basement, and that's going to turn into her craft room.
Yeah,
for her to kind of do what she does with t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of
All right.
And Autumn's home from school.
Autumn's home from school. She played pickleball with us Tuesday night.
Yeah.
That was a blast.
Yeah. I was sick.
Yeah, that's what she
I
said.
wasn't feeling good at all.
Squeaky.
Did she tell you to man up like I told her?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I couldn't. I didn't.
I couldn't. I did.
We should do a pickleball tournament for the youth.
You want to?
Yeah.
Me and you on a team?
You're not a youth.
I work with youth.
He can be the referee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there
true.
you go.
Yeah.
We can
go.
do that. You want to do a pickleball tournament? We'll do one. Yeah.
bro.
Let's
Do
do
we,
it.
got to get him one of those little elevated stands to stand on?
We'll look at some dates and we can pick one.
All right.
Do a Wednesday night tournament.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. I'm game for that.
What about you, Jetty?
Big Christmas plans?
No, no big plans.
No.
We'll go to Dad's on Christmas Eve and do nothing on Christmas Day.
Yeah. When do y'all go over there?
Christmas Eve.
What time though?
Oh, usually about 5:30, 6 o'clock
PM or AM?
p.m.
PM. Because we're doing a Christmas Eve service here.
We are.
This year.
Yeah.
First one since I've been here.
You candlelight.
Candlelight. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
That should be cool.
so-
It's been a while.
Yeah. So I think that'll be at regular evening service time, 6 o'clock. So it'll be nice.
Yep.
So if you're
So
in
right
Northwest
after
Arkansas,
men's Bible study.
Ray, if you want to do men's Bible study on Christmas Eve, you may be the only one here for that.
You might be right.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm not gonna say probably. You are.
You mean you're not gonna be like, hey, yeah, I got to go to church early. I'm sorry. I got.
No.
Yeah.
What about you, Derek?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No.
Just chilling.
Yeah, because like last year, we went to North Carolina. That's where my dad's at. And then Autumn kind of wanted to go back because the year before we went to Branson. We went to North Carolina. And then Autumn wanted just a at-home Christmas.
Those are some of the best.
Yep. So that's what we did. We're like, yeah, let's just do it at home.
We should go to. We should do it in Wisconsin. have like 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
She wants to come home so she can get her bedroom back.
Yeah.
I tried stealing it back. I even had a whole discussion. Didn't work.
So you tried to reason with a woman.
I have.
How'd that work out?
Good luck.
I think you finally learned what the rest of
Learn
us
them
have.
Yes.
Learn it young.
Good luck.
It's like a joke. Like, I went to a library yesterday. I found a book, How to Understand Women. All the pages were empty.
Some people's
Where's
kids.
the drum?
That's terrible.
Awesome.
That was good.
At least you're understanding early.
Ray's going to get a lot of comments now.
Right. They're gonna come in now for sure.
We do not learn those at youth group.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. That's not what they're taught.
That's
At
not
youth
what I heard last
Not
night.
taught in youth group.
So where do you learn this from?
What do we do?
Do you learn those from your best friend Jed?
Not really.
Good answer.
Good job. Good job.
Right.
He passed.
Yep.
Well, now that we're talking about Christmas, Ray.
Yeah. Right. I know. We said, what should we talk about tonight? Christmas. Right.
Christmas.
Well, I know we talked about it last year too, because it's always it's always tough, even for people who are good Christians, to remember to keep Christ in Christmas.
Right.
Because it's everywhere you go, every place outside of church, and even some of the stuff in church tends to be a lot more about the stuff that's not Christ. So right? Christ, Mass, Christ, more Christ. As I texted earlier when I said we should talk about that. And we've been trying to work with Harmony too, because it's so tough for a kid, even again, trying to raise her as Christian as possible. But all the kids ever talk about is, I want this for Christmas, I want that for Christmas, I want this for Christmas. I said, how come I haven't heard you say what you want to get somebody else for Christmas? Right? Like I'm trying to get into her, teach her in early to think more about, I'd like to get this for mom for Christmas. I'd like to get this for my grandma for Christmas. I want to get this for so and so. So last night after we were here, we had to go do our grocery shopping and late night Walmart run, but we were I was having her help pick out stuff we grabbed one of the gift things for the one of the kids who needs gifts, and we're like, all right, we're gonna fill this list up. Let's go pick stuff out. Help pick stuff out for a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
So. And she enjoys doing it. It's just getting her into the mindset of actually just to initiate that, because as soon as I say, hey, let's gift stuff, she's like 100%, let's do this. She's all in, but just doesn't doesn't initiate, doesn't start there first, and I think that's really important for us all to get back. I don't think as adults, I think we actually pretty naturally switch into that. I'm buying this, buying that for other people. But we still do buy stuff for ourselves too while we're doing it. We're like, oh, this would be a nice Christmas
I enjoy
gift
that
for
the
me.
most. I do, and that's what I told Autumn. We had a discussion last week. I said I enjoy buying other people gifts.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
I do too.
Like, I don't have to get anything.
Yeah, me neither. Like I don't. But I like buying. I like to gift. Wyatt, you're nodding your head. You like doing that too. Yeah, it's just more fun.
That reminds
Derek,
me.
this is what I want. No, I'm just joking.
I already got something for you.
Oh, crap.
Hey, I already got you something for Christmas.
Yep.
You ain't getting another one.
That just like my sister had a I don't know, ex-fiance, former fiance, because I don't want to call him an ex because they were engaged when he passed away. So former fiance, that when he was in high school, he would actually go buy coats, stuff them in his backpack, like hide them from his mom, take them to school and give them to kids who didn't have them in high school. And I was like, man, that's not like, I was like, that's what it's about, you know, and that's not taught. But he was very much that way. Like if you tried to give him something, he'd be like, no, and wouldn't take it.
Yep. And it's about that showing the giving, because of course God gave the ultimate gift, right? God gave the ultimate sacrifice he possibly could. Jesus gave that for us, and that's what he asks us to constantly do, is to just, we're literally supposed to be willing to give everything we have, which I don't know how to do that yet. I'm working on that, and I don't think many Christians actually get to that full level. That's really difficult, and we're not, we don't have to. We know that that's not required for salvation. That's our goal to aim for, right? And every little step we can take, every little piece can just get us a little bit closer to that trusting. Because I do. The funny thing is, I believe it, but also to practice it. Like I believe 100% that if I truly gave away every dollar I had to further God's kingdom, he would take care of me. He would, and I know he'd take care of that's my biggest fear is my family, right? But how do I take care of my wife? How do I take care of Harmony? What do I do? But the Bible does tell you 100%, and I know that if I did it in faith, in true faith, right, that he would. But how do you take that step?
He would take care of him better than you can.
Yeah.
I know.
And I think for most of us, like we say, yeah, we love to give gifts to other people. And if you look at most of who we give gifts to, it's people that we get along with, people we care about, people we like, right? And I think to scripture of the Good Samaritan, and look at what he did. The Samaritan stops to help a Jew. Jews didn't even stop to help him.
Yep.
Right? The Samaritan stopped to help him, put him on his own donkey, took him to bandaged his wounds up.
Yep.
Paid
for his time at the inn for as long as he needed.
And said, hey, I'll come back and pay what I like. Pay what I owe. And that's where I'm like, am I doing that? Like, am I giving to people who aren't necessarily like me? Am I giving to people who are different from me, like people who I don't really want to be around? Like, am I giving to them, or am I only giving to people I like? And so that's where, like, for us, I think a lot of times we get in our comfort zones to where we give for our people, but we don't give for others. Yep.
And Christmas is a good time. I mean, to think good things about it, but it's a great time to try to give time if you have time, because that is one of the greatest gifts that we can give, because it's the only thing we can't get any more of, I'm sure God could probably figure out a way to get you more time, but just saying, he can always get you more money. It's real easy for him to get you more money, but making more time is the only thing we can't make more of. So
right, they print that every day.
Yeah, they print money.
No, money.
Money's printed every day.
They print it every day.
They don't even need to print it anymore. They just click a couple of buttons and then you go click. Look, there's more money.
There's so much of it out there.
We just added a zero to the end of this number. There's more money.
Yep.
I want to read this real quick, boys, because this one here we're talking about always giving. And this one right here, I just read it and I was thinking, wow, this is something we really don't think about. We think about it, but we think more about giving during Christmas. It's the question is, what does it really mean to keep Christ in Christmas? And then one of my quotes below that, it's right next to each other. It says, you can never truly enjoy Christmas until you look into the Father's face and tell him you have received his Christmas gift.
Yep.
That is very true.
That's a good start. Then you can get into the giving to others through him. I was like, man, I was just reading this here, and I was like, man, that's a good question. And then all of a sudden, the answer, a answer is underneath it. It's not the only answer, but it's a good place to start. If you can't really receive him, you're not going to understand about giving true gifts.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Until you to accept the gift that was given to you and have that. I think we've even mentioned it here before that I don't even know if you can actually truly understand the type of unconditional love that you're supposed to have until you can understand God's love for you and understand that we do not deserve it in any way possible, and yet he's willing to give everything. And then we can start to share that back out, and then we can turn around and be able to do that and go out in the community and spend some time with people who really need it. You know, do some meals. The kids are gonna go and sing carols at a couple of the senior centers around here, and you know that type of thing can really bring a huge amount of joy.
Oh yeah.
To someone else. You know, any little bit, every little bit. That I've actually multiple Bible studies that I'm going through on Romans and in Acts and other places too. They all have been lining up lately too, kind of talking about that, the true faith, the belief in it, right? The stronger your belief in it, almost the more real it becomes in a way. Even though it's real from the beginning, but it's only going to be as strong as you understand it to be, or as strong as you're willing to give the power to it to be, right? It was like that the chainsaw joke, the story that I've told a few times. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast, but you know, if you don't know how to use the tool, if you don't know how to use your faith, you can't get the power from it, right? I don't think we have, as Christians, have a lack of people who believe in Christ, but we have a lack of people who believe in the faith in Christ. We have a power of faith issue,
Right.
to not understand how strong we actually are if we know how to use our faith in that way, right? We are given so many promises of the strength of the faith that we've been given that it is endless, the amount of power that's there if we understand how to use it. And all the stuff all the Bible studies say, it all just comes down to that belief. If you believe it, it's true, right? Reading the Roman study I was reading was talking about the Lord's, or no, it was the Corinthians was talking about the Lord's Supper, right? And it says if you don't feel that you deserve the Lord's Supper, don't take the Lord's Supper, because if you don't have 100% belief that you deserve it, you don't.
Yeah.
And don't mess around, right? And then in Romans we were talking about the weaker brother, stronger brother, right? Don't stumble your weaker brother, weaker in faith, because they don't understand that certain things that I shouldn't do that because it's not okay for a Christian to do that. Then don't do that around them. Don't do that with them. Don't force them. Don't convince them otherwise, because you trying to just convince them that said thing is okay for a Christian to do, you could stumble them, because it's their conscience has to be the one that's okay with it. It's not your conscience that controls their faith, right? So it's becoming that stronger brother, having that stronger faith to, as Chuck Missler put it, to have the moment by moment faith in the provision of the Lord, that he will take care of you moment by moment through every moment of the day if you just leave it up to him.
That's why, Jed, you don't plan your days.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that on a daily basis. We talk about that a lot.
If I make a plan, there's going to be a problem. The problem could save me from doing something I shouldn't do.
That's like where we went to the lake house on spring break. The whole time it was raining.
We tried to plan it, didn't we?
Yeah. And our boat almost sank.
Yep.
But you had a lot of good times sitting around visiting.
Didn't we?
Yeah,
It still worked out.
Yeah. Yep.
But in the true fact of, like I said, you have to start with that beginning. Anybody can give you a gift, and it could be out of selfishness or it could be out of God's love. Without having the Holy Spirit inside you and knowing God, you're not doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
For the mere fact we like giving things to other people, not for our glory, not for anything else, but to show that Christ's love. Just like you were saying, I mean, if you're not you wouldn't know any other way if you didn't know God first about taking the Lord's Supper, giving gifts, or any of that without knowing Christ. All in selfishness if you don't know that.
We're born selfish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're
I could
very
sit here-
selfish people.
Yeah. Yeah, we could just sit here and I'll give you $1 million. Am I gloating because I have $1 million I can give you, or is that a blessing from God that I'm giving it?
Right. Right.
Right.
So I mean, it's always got to start with God first. Always.
It has to.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, remember this too, like when you come in conversations with people, they talk about their birthday, right? And you want to talk about selfishness. Like their birthday is the one thing matters the entire month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's my birthday. Okay.
year.
Like for a lot of us, we're like,
It's
I don't
another
care.
day.
It's another
It's
day,
another day.
right? But and we celebrate. What do we celebrate? On Christ's birthday. You know, so with that understanding with Christmas, and we need to celebrate it like we do our own birthdays.
Yep.
Sometimes
Or more.
or more,
And
like
more.
really, or more.
Yep.
I mean, for us guys, we don't care.
Right.
But for the women, it's the entire month is their
Oh
birthday.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You remember it's my birthday?
Oh, yeah.
There are some guys that care, but
Oh, do they?
yeah.
Do you care, Daniel?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, like when we
But
get
they're
up there
out
the
there.
first Sunday of the month, I hate going up there. I hate going up there in March because I'm
Right.
like, it's another day.
Yeah,
Like,
it's my
I-
birthday.
like,
I mean, who cares?
Yeah, like awesome. God, like I'm glad God let me live another year. You
Correct.
know, like
Correct.
I'm
Blessed.
grateful for
Yeah.
that and blessed in that. But other than that, I don't care about my birthday.
Right.
Like it's another day.
My wife actually made a good argument when like Harmony was like 2 or 3, and we weren't saved at the time. But she was like, on her birthday, you should be celebrating me more than her. I'm the one who did
Right,
something that
right,
day. I'm like, you're right, actually. I mean, honestly,
right.
congratulations for not dying on that day, because I think I would have.
Yeah, but it just kind of came up to me like the selfishness that we have. We have self. I mean, we are very selfish
are.
people.
No, we are. We are.
Yeah.
Then that's the innate sin that's inside of us that we need to take, because we don't trust. We don't trust that God will take care of us. We don't trust that someone will take care of us. If we don't take this now, I won't get it. I won't have it.
Yep.
And God tells us that no, you should have the faith, the trust to give every single thing I give to you away, because I'll give you more.
Right.
Right. And there's a great line. I
will
don't remember who
open
said
up
it.
the gates. You
He
know,
says,
Yes.
God,
yes.
God, trust me, God will never leave it to where He's got an IOU to you.
right.
Right? He's never going to be like, oh, well, I owe you something for that.
Right.
Nah, don't worry about it. He'll take care of that real quick.
Oh yeah.
Well, to your point of, it's my whole birthday year. I mean,
the whole year.
if we keep Christ in our heart, Christmas has no end.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's
it
true.
should be every
That is
day.
true.
Yep.
Well, and
Right.
here's like, if you want to say you're not selfish, look at your Christmas list. Like what's on it. Mm-hmm. Is it stuff to bless other people, or is it stuff to make you feel better about yourself?
Well, see, like for me, this is my Christmas gift is usually, or Christmas list. Is my wife asks me, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, I don't care. I don't really I don't have a
Right.
list. I don't have nothing.
I
I
can use
buy
some
it
new
whenever I have
sweatpants.
a
I mean,
new
Right?
job.
Yeah.
I need a belt.
I buy it whenever I have a new job.
Right. Right.
All those tools.
Right.
You
Yep.
know.
So I mean, that's the thing is like I don't,
Yeah, yeah. And that's
and I think most of the guys in this room are that way too
Yeah.
as well. I mean, we just like
it
I don't-
aggravates Taylor
no,
so
like
bad.
what? And I asked her, I'm like, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
Like, well, I want to give you something.
Yeah, you tell me what you want. That's
Yeah,
what I want.
that's what I
think
wanna
it-
do.
I think it comes with maturity too, because I've noticed over the years, you expect 1 or 2 gifts. You're like, yeah.
Right.
But over years, like we've been hearing, be content.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at some point in your life, you're sitting there going, what gadget can I get that's going to, make me happy?
Right.
There's always things we can use, but
Yeah.
like we say, every time we need it, we just go get it,
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I think in your maturity, you get content, but you're always wanting to give to somebody else, your
Yeah.
wife, or
Yeah.
your kids or something.
Right.
Because I did the same thing. I don't care. And we just had this conversation today, me and my wife, or yesterday, one of the two. It's like, you don't understand. I don't want anything. I got, and I'm not using possession right here, but I'm saying I got my Chevelle. You guys go to car shows with me and had fun this whole season. That's all I want to do again.
Yeah.
Just get me back to my car and we all go do that. I don't need anything.
Right.
Just the time with you guys was all I was asking for.
Yeah.
I've got what I need. I don't want
Exactly.
anything
Yeah,
Right.
I've been at
other than time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time with friends, family.
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
all
like
I
I've
care
been,
about anymore.
I feel like I've been at that point
Yep.
for a while in my life.
Yep.
I think back even to like high school. I think I was at that stage. Like,
Yep.
Mom, every year, what do you want? Well, I got a house to live under. Thank you for that. I got a bed to sleep in. Thank you for that. I got food. Thank you for getting that. I got clothes. Thank you for getting that. I just want to spend time with you. Like,
Right.
and that was as a high schooler, which is mostly your selfish most selfish time of your life, right?
It's in high school.
and,
It is. And
and at that-
college.
right.
I can tell you college, too.
right, yeah. And I was just kind of like, I'm good.
But
and so like when
there
me and
brings
Taylor,
up another point too. If you don't have God in your life,
yeah,
I mean, you can't look at those as blessings.
yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You can't look at them
That's
as
true.
blessings, even as a young child or even as old as we are or older. You always look at things and it's just like, I want more, more, more. But if you have Christ in your life, you come to a point where
Yeah.
you're just like, whatever you give me is a blessing, Lord. I
Yeah.
don't, I don't care now.
Yeah.
This is it. What do I absolutely need that you're gonna put in my way that I want to not have?
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
I told Wendy just to get me the nice clothes she wants to see me wear. Like, go
You know, it's
buy me
funny.
some nice clothes you want to see me in because I don't know what to get.
When I was a kid, my old man didn't get underwear.
Yeah.
And now, that's what I want.
Yeah,
That's
like,
my
yeah,
underwear,
I
man.
never buy it for myself. I never remember to go get new underwear.
Underwear and socks. That's
Right.
it. Like,
Right? We're men. It's like as long as the elastic band holds it on my waist, I don't care how many holes are in it.
But I
Still
mean,
do their
you turned out, you turned out too, like, buying gifts for the kids. Like, man, I enjoy that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, that joy that you have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was sick yesterday, but, you talk about that joy that you have with the Holy Spirit and God. It's a whole different kind of joy. You can't explain it.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody understands it except for other believers.
Right. It's true.
Right.
Us Christian men will be like, man, I just have this joy
Right.
that I'm content,
Yeah.
very happy, and I don't need any more.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so when you're with other brothers, man, that's where you can say that because you all understand where we're all
Right.
coming from.
Yep.
It doesn't matter how many bad things can be thrown at you. If you got the joy and the faith, it's easy.
It's weird, huh?
It's weird.
It's weird.
And it's also
don't.
it's awesome how elevated it is when we all get together.
Oh,
about-
yeah.
I mean, we're good about even just talking on the phone or texting each other, but once we get together, the elevation.
it
I know.
elevates.
That's the one
Yeah.
thing I've been
And
telling.
it doesn't matter if it's a holiday or if it's just a Saturday. It's just like, dude, we got our peoples here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's to a point that's better than it. I mean, it is a gift with all of us here, but I'm saying it's better than something you can go buy off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
Well, just
Yeah.
like the last couple of times I missed the men's Bible study, I get back into it again. I'm like, man, I missed this.
yeah.
There's just these certain things that you get pulled in a different direction. You get back to it, and you're like, oh man, that's what I was missing out on.
Yeah.
Right, and you can tell how powerful Satan is because when you're not there, you'll be like, oh, I don't, I got stuff, I know this and that and the other thing. It's all good. And you almost when you're not there, you're like, oh, I don't need to be there.
Right.
But then the second you go back, you're like, why did I miss? Why
Yeah.
did I not come? Why did I not do
It's
this?
like going to the gym.
Yeah. Right.
The hardest step is getting there.
Oh, I know, right? It is. Well, it's like that video that got shared around the other day. It's like I think you guys shared it, or maybe I saw it someplace else. But it's like I know it was from this group. If you just go to the gym and just watch, though. If you just go to the gym and just watch people work out,
That's not fun.
That's not fun.
That's why some people don't enjoy going to church because all they do is go to church and just watch. They don't do anything.
Do it.
They don't participate in anything. They don't go to extra
That's not
stuff.
fun.
They don't go to
Didn't you send that?
Right.
more stuff. Yeah, maybe I don't remember. If it
I
was,
don't remember because I felt like I did.
you might have
Because I
sent
watched
it.
There's a lot of
and I
videos
think
that
I
go
sent
through
it
the
out.
whole
That's
week.
true.
There's a lot of videos that come
But
through.
it was a good
yeah,
one. It's a
because
great one
I
because
was
it made
sitting there
perfect
and-
sense.
Because I ran that marathon, and I took all the last week off just to let myself recover, and this week getting up, I was like, I'm a runner. I'll go run when I'm gonna not go.
It'll happen. It'll be fine.
because I'm a runner, right?
Yeah.
Because I've ran multiple marathons now, so I'm a runner, and so it'll happen when it happens, and that was my mindset Monday morning actually, and that video popped up as I was getting ready because why just get ready? Why not waste time?
Yep.
And that popped up, and I was like, holy smokes. And then I packed my running bag so I could go run
Yep.
after school.
Yep.
But I was like, that is so accurate. Like, how many people do we have in church, or as he said, in the gym?
In the gym.
In the
Uh-huh.
gym that pay to go to the gym and have all the gym clothes and all the gym stuff and the gym bag and the headphones,
How
Yeah.
are you not improving if you're going to the gym?
Right.
It's
Right.
because they're
And-
just
because
sitting
they're just
in
sitting,
a pew.
and that's
Yeah.
how we
I like
are.
that.
That's how we
Yeah,
are in the
I like
church
that.
too. is
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, dude, that hits hard. Like, share
Yep.
that out.
Yep, because if you're not participating, and I preach this to anyone listening, and I've been preaching this to one of my friends who I've been going through Bible study with, who lives in Minnesota. That it's like, you got to get a church.
Yes.
It doesn't even have to be a perfect church to start with. Just make sure that's from the Bible.
There
Make
are
sure
no
they
perfect churches.
make sure they read from the Bible, and you're good to go there. And just start and meet the people, and go and hang out with the people, and go to the events and the things. Because I mean, Sunday is great. That the sermon and the worship we do and all that, that powers me up in one way. But then going to the dinners and the little parties and the little get-togethers and the stuff with the kids, where you get to see all the kids playing and doing their thing, all that stuff charges
And
you up.
that's where people, like, when they leave a church and they're like, well, I just got nothing out of that church. What did you put into the church?
Yeah, what did you do?
You know, like, yeah, you're not going to get nothing out if you don't put nothing in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's a struggle, and it is. I mean,
It is.
Even for all of us, we've had the struggles, even with the church that we're at right now. I mean, this church here. I mean, to be very honest with you,
Yep.
we've had those struggles, and you sit there and go, you know, there is no perfect church, and we know that.
Yep.
I mean, because we entered the building, and now it's not perfect.
Yep.
But you know, I've only been members. I've only had 3 churches in my entire life. You know, since I was 3 years old, or third grade, 3 churches. And so, but we've gone to different ones and looked at and seen. But you're right, though. We have to get involved.
Yeah.
And I think the more you get involved, the more, and we talk about this, and I've said it, the love of the people that you have in the church.
Yeah.
Because, like, I love the people in the church. And that's why I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because I love the people in the church.
And that's where
It takes it from one-sided to a whole fellowship of
Correct.
one-sided.
Correct.
If you get involved.
Yep.
Because you got your people that are dead set, old traditions, whatever,
Right.
and then you bring in actual people that are supposed to be involved,
Uh-huh.
and you bring in a whole new group that makes a church where you want to be.
And you know, in the different events,
Or need to be.
and
I
the
don't want to say
different events
want
is
to be,
what
need to be.
brings people closer
Yeah.
too. Well, I mean, even as small as pickleball on
the
Tuesday
pickleball
nights.
Tuesday
Yeah.
nights. Oh, that's
It's
so
hilarious.
much fun.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have so
And
much. We
it's
have a
just-
blast.
It's so fun. But you get to build that relationship and that bond with another Christian brother or sister
Yep.
that you probably would have never built if it wasn't just for that particular thing.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have enough time to do it on Sundays for the 15 minutes before church and the 15 minutes after.
Right.
I mean, that's also not going to get you anywhere. You're not
Yep.
going to build relationships. You're not going to build connections.
And that's where, like, when somebody says, "Oh, I don't feel connected," or "I don't feel a part of the family," I'm like, "Well, then what are you doing? Like, do you just show up on Sunday for church service, Sunday morning service, and then go home? Are you part of a Sunday school group? Are you part of Bible studies? Like, is there a group that you're connected with in general? You know, like us."
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it too. Like, if you are involved and you're doing stuff like that, and then just something just doesn't
Right.
go right, okay. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's why there's 30 churches within 10 miles.
Right. But
Right.
don't
But it's
don't
but
let
it's-
people's
it's the
failures
ones-
ruin church
It's
for
the
you.
ones who have the gym membership that don't do anything.
Right.
at the
No,
gym.
Most of the
Then
time
I'm
it is.
like,
Most of the time.
But
yeah.
we need to put this out here. It's the people that think, well, church is boring. All you got to do is go sit, and you just heard a lot of things that
yeah,
we do.
yeah. And that doesn't even scratch the surface.
That is
of
church
what we
ain't
do.
boring.
I'm saying equivalent to any church you go to. If they don't have it, do it.
Start
Do
it.
it.
That's what we all did.
Yeah.
If you
Man.
you are the one going, well, I wish that would happen, I'm leaving. Well, you're part of the problem too. Go and hey.
No,
I mean,
do
think,
it.
think about
it's,
it. Like
it's like I told you guys in class before. I run my mouth. We all know that. But God gave us a voice for a reason.
Yep.
So if the church you are involved with it, you know that people want to do things. Why don't you use your voice and start it up?
And you know, and we've done that, and we tried to play by the rules
Yes.
as
Right.
well, right? Because you have to go through this group to do this group or do that. Okay, let's play by the rules. Well, now we tried different things. We're gonna start this. What do you think about that? Well, that sounds great. Okay, let's do it. And
like-
we've done a lot of different things.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Men's ministry wasn't going on here, and we got that kicked off. We didn't have a podcast, and we got that going. Pickleball is going.
We had that Acts 1-8 out here at the
1-8
rodeo.
out here at the rodeo grounds.
Yep.
The security team, you know, was kind of very minimal
We got Sunday night. We got a men's group.
Men's Bible study on Sunday nights outside of just the fellowships that we were doing.
But
Yeah.
we got to keep saying that we didn't do that.
Well, right. No.
God did it.
There was
God
a
did
need
it.
there that
But
God
I'm
allowed
saying
us
we
to.
got to listen to God and let us
Right.
work through this. Not just going off on your own random.
No,
That's not
no.
what I was
Right.
saying either. I was saying we got to make sure it's all for God's glory
Right.
as well. I don't want to sound generic because that's every answer, but I'm saying if you're trying to be involved and you got the negative attitude about, well, church is boring, well,
See what
why
God's
don't
calling you
start?
to do.
Yeah,
Right.
start and do.
Because once you know your calling, man, you're going to be very, very powerful or very good at it.
Right.
Because once you understand what God has called you to do,
Yep.
go and do it.
Right. And I know what holds a lot of people back is the fact that there might be somebody doing it and you might be like, oh, I could do it better. Well, then go help them.
Go help them.
You don't,
Go help 'em.
don't take it over. Just go up and say, hey, can I help? I would love to help you with this. Can we do this together? And
And
I
who
know
knows?
you'll run into people who will say no, but whatever, try.
And the
know.
person that's doing it may be ready to take a
And
step
they might-
back.
they might not even wanna
they
do
might-
it.
They might have so much on their plate that they're asking
Yes.
God for somebody,
Right. Exactly. And that's
and then they can take a step back.
Because God's plan's like the awesomest plan ever. Because look at Joseph and Mary. They had to step up. They had to go to the end. They had to have all this in play
yep.
because God said so.
Do you want to talk about awesome plan? This is crazy. I wanted to bring it up because I know last year I talked a little bit about the Magi, right? Because they're an important thing, the wise men who come. And I was just, again, doing Bible study and going through this section of Matthew, and it was talking about how, the Magi, where they came from, they were the Medo-Persians is what they were. Do you know who was a Magi? Daniel. Daniel, when he was captured by the Babylonians, he was promoted to be the head of the Magi, these same Magi. So why do you think they knew about this star and about the birth of the king? Who do you think told them about that prophecy that they knew about? Even though it's not in the Bible, but they knew about it. This is some 400 years after Daniel was their head, their prince, their king, or whatever you want to call it, of the Magi. So they showed up. This is the other thing I didn't know about them. They were the king makers. They were the ones in the Medo-Persian Empire. When the king died, it was the Magi who selected the next king, right? And the Medo-Persians, just within the last couple of decades, they had pushed Herod out of Jerusalem. They actually had conquered Jerusalem, ruled the area. The Romans had finally pushed back in. Herod had come back, and now the Magi show up. Your enemies, kingmakers, show up and say, there's a new king of the Jews. Where is he? That's why Herod reacts the way he does. That's why it doesn't just say that Herod was upset. It says all of Jerusalem was troubled because they were like, are these guys invading us again? Because they just had invaded and taken everything over within people's lifetimes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I was like, that is so crazy. Because we think from a biblical, just what the Bible says. We're like, yeah, the Romans ruled it. The Romans must have been ruling them forever. No, it was like
There's some
within...
historical backing. Like you
Yeah. Herod was ruling Jerusalem from Rome for many years because the Medo-Persians had pushed Romans out of Jerusalem. So that's why Herod, but also to tell that story, like I mentioned last year, it wasn't just three dudes.
Right.
Because if the three kingmakers of your enemies just showed up on your doorstep, well, they would have just disappeared. Nobody would have seen them again, right? They must have come in force. They must have had a big enough force there that nobody challenged them. So, again, I was like, it changes the story in such a unique way.
Yeah.
But again, just that Bible prophecy, that stuff, all God's plan is perfect, right? How did Daniel become the king of the Magi of a foreign land? And this all, again, only to God.
And that's
Only
what I was
to
going
God.
to say. And Daniel had a voice that God gave him.
Yep. And he sure
I'm
used it.
saying,
Yeah, he did.
If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. I promise you.
Yep.
But I like how you brought that up last year, too, because you can argue with people on the three wise men.
Yeah.
Because as kids, that's what we got brought up.
Yeah, because of three gifts.
The three gifts, the three wise men.
Yep.
There wasn't three wise men.
Yeah, it never says
It
three.
Because it just says the wise men.
Yeah, it just
from
says the wise
east.
men. Yep.
Entourage.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't travel with exactly. You wouldn't be traveling with gold, frankincense, and myrrh on your own either. I mean, honestly.
No, you'd have.
And those weren't even the only three gifts. Actually, if you read, it says he gave gifts. It didn't say he gave gifts of just these three. Apparently, if you read it in the Greek translation, those are just three of the gifts. There were other gifts too. They brought gifts, and some of them were gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But that's because those represented his deity and his
I was gonna
man.
say,
There's a representation.
They were part
there.
of the story that
Yes.
we needed to know.
Exactly. They're the important part. The rest of it was frivolous. So, but it's still, it's just really neat. Again, that's the, what I call, that's the meat of the Bible, right? This is the milk,
Right.
salvation, Jesus. Once you get through that, you can read the Bible 5, 6, 10 times. Every time you read it and every time you study it and you listen to somebody new this time, you'll learn all these new little things that just make it so more real and so much more alive to you than just what it is. And that's part of the I think it's important of Christmas is not just making it about this. I mean, the reason I was studying this Matthew part is because I want to take Harmony and my wife through this too, through the Christmas story biblically. Let's talk about what it meant. Let's talk about what happened beyond just we're just going to read Matthew 1 and 2 and call that the Christmas story and move on. Like, I'm ready to take them deeper. I'm ready to take them to that next step.
The Magi weren't even there at Christmas time.
No, they weren't. The Magi were there a year or two later.
2 to 3 years later.
It could be.
2 to 3 is what they were, because of the distance of travel and all.
Yeah.
They weren't there.
They weren't there.
Stable.
No. It even says they showed up at a house. Actually, if you read the story, they didn't even show up at his table. They showed up at a house. So
I don't know where that got.
I don't know either.
mixed
Well,
up in
that's a lot of things that
translation.
we go through, right, Daniel?
Yeah.
Like, we go through, like, the childhood stories.
Yeah, growing up in church, you're
Right?
like,
But then we go back, and then as we mature in Christ,
yeah.
now we dissect them and go, oh, well, this is how it really happened.
right.
Because like we say, Jonah in the well, and if you look, it's Jonah in the belly of the big fish,
Right.
Not
Yeah.
the whale. The
We
big
don't know
fish.
if it's a whale.
We
Yeah,
don't know if
we
it's
really
a whale or
don't.
not.
We
but
really don't.
It could be, but
Yep.
it says big fish, and I'm like,
Yep.
So
there's
you
some-
lied to me.
Although, did you see that story about the diver who got swallowed by the whale by accident? Survived inside a whale's belly for almost 48 hours
I
before
did
they got him
not-
out. Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah. So
Where was that at?
I don't remember where it was, but I saw the story popped up.
'Cause what
I
would be
searched it
really-
down.
What would be really cool is if it was in the same region.
Right. I know. Seriously,
That
that'd
would
be
be
super
awesome.
cool. Yeah. But yeah, some scuba diver apparently accidentally got sucked up into a whale and
That's just another reason why I'm not scuba diving.
yep.
Well, that's why you even went up there sometimes and re-emphasizes the stories, right? Because
Yeah.
like you did, I think you brought up David and Goliath.
Yeah,
Right.
David and Goliath, and the way we read that, and,
Yep.
and we think Goliath was there by himself, but if you go back and read, he had his shield bearers there.
Oh yeah, he
you
had.
know?
There's actually a great story
And-
to that
and
too. You know,
so-
how many stones did he pick up?
David,
Yeah,
5.
5. Yeah, you know why? Because Goliath had 4
Goliath had
brothers.
4 brothers, yeah, and so
he was ready for the brothers
you
to
know,
come
so,
too.
yeah, like, and part of that is because the way we teach that from doing children's ministry for a little bit of my time in church ministry is that we teach that in a way that they can understand that with
Right.
with their minds, right? And
But we
for
don't
some-
go back and
we
clarify
don't go
it at
back and
different
clarify,
stages.
right?
Yeah.
We don't go back to clarify,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
because like really, you go back and look at that story, and we picture that it's just David, just Goliath, and no one else is around,
Right.
But all the Israelites are standing around watching this battle,
Oh yeah,
like,
and the
and the Philistines.
Philistines, yeah, they're
and,
all
and
there.
just sitting there going, Shorty's fixing to die.
Yep.
You know?
right.
And-
Right. Because and they
So-
used that. Hollywood did use that similar thing in Troy, the movie they did with Brad
Yeah.
Pitt, because that is not unheard of. That
Yeah.
armies could actually, instead of saying, "Hey, instead of our armies battling, your best warrior versus our best warrior, and then we'll decide who wins this battle today."
Yeah.
That actually was a
That
real
was the
thing.
way-
That wasn't
yeah,
just
that
some
was how-
made up thing.
Yeah, that was how you had the battles back then. And then
Yep.
you look too, and you go to the account. I'm trying not to use stories. The account
Right.
of Jesus,
Right.
You know, and when he got flogged, like we think of it, especially as you go to like churches and you watch them do the plays, like there's not a scene of Jesus with his hands tied around a rock or around a post. He's carrying the cross, and for some of us, like that's the picture we have. But if you go back and you read the account, like he was actually, and if you know anything about the Romans and the way they did this, was he was either laid over a stone, right, or he had his hands tied up to a post. And so when they whipped with the cat o' nine tails, which was not just leather strips, but
Yep.
it had glass and screws and rocks and all kinds of stuff in it. It didn't just hit the back, but it wrapped around. And so whatever it grabbed,
Oh yeah.
you know. And so like Jesus did not look all pretty with just the back tore up. He looked like hamburger meat.
Oh, yeah.
That you're about to brown. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
That's
like
why he couldn't carry the cross.
Right. That's why he couldn't carry the cross, because the pain was so hard on his back.
A lot of
And he
people
was
didn't
so
even make
weak.
it to the cross alive.
Right.
They hung up a lot of dead bodies on those crosses for crucifixion.
They knew that, what was it, that at number 40, I think it was, like they've done it so much.
There was a number they stopped. Like they do 39, but not 40.
So like at 40, they would kill a man with it.
Yep.
And so they stopped at 39 on Jesus.
Yep.
You know, and then forced him to carry his own cross. And most of the times when they carried the cross, it was just the beam.
The beam, yep.
It wasn't the full cross. It was just the beam.
They'd tie it to their arms and make them carry that. Yep. So your
because
arms would be tied above your shoulders
arms would be
and
tied
stretched
above your
out.
shoulders and stretched out. And I think, if I remember correctly, looking back at the historical aspect and looking back through Scripture, I think Jesus actually carried the full weight of the cross on his back up to Golgotha.
I know he had to get help at
And
one
there
point.
was-
I don't remember exactly where that was.
From
but-
Simeon.
Yep.
But I think he, if I remember correctly, which if somebody out there is like, no, that's not right, and
Great. We'll study it deeper next week.
Great study, you know, like point that out to us. But if I remember correctly, he had to carry the full weight, which when you think of that, that just paints a whole nother picture of the love that he showed upon us, right? Because the full weight of the cross as opposed to just the cross beams.
And he had the strength to get through
and the
it.
strength to get through it after being ripped to shreds. And
Yep.
Now, on the reverse side of that, real quick, while you're talking about that, even though it was God's will for all them guys to hit him with the whip and do all that, even though that's all in the plan, still got to suck to be those guys anyway.
oh yeah, well, and
They may not want to done it or did it, but they had to do it within God's will. You know?
So the cat o' nine tails, the way they did it too, if you look back at Roman history and the way they did their punishment with this, is they started with the cat o' nine tails, so they rip you up, and then they switch over to almost like a bamboo stick. So now you're hitting ripped up flesh with the bamboo stick,
Just with a stick,
and then go back to the cat o' nine tails.
Nobody wants that.
Like that, just the.
But you said that love, though. Let me ask you guys this: would you do that for your family? Oh, I would.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do that for anybody in my family, right? Because of that love that he had for us. I mean, you think about that love that we have for our family, and you know, if anyone messes with your family or your kids or something like that, you know, that love is so deep.
Right.
That's what Jesus had for us.
Right. Right.
It's just hard to fathom that, right?
And what's crazy to think about, like we'd say we do it for our family, and at the time that Jesus did that, we weren't part of the family.
Nope.
We were enemies of God,
Yeah.
and that was the love he had for
Right.
us.
That's deep.
That's deep.
Like deep.
Right. Also, although I did have a guy say that, because he said that same thing. He goes, I talk to Christians all the time, Christian men, strong Christian men. They'll be like, yeah, I would sacrifice my life for my family. I would sacrifice my life for members of my church, all this stuff. He goes, great. So why do you have such a hard time living for God?
Right.
And that's what I was going to say, is we find the excuse.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
easy to die for God.
know.
It's
Yes.
much harder to live for God.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're right.
We find the excuses all around that. And we can't, I mean, he took a beating. He took all the ridicule. He did everything for us. But we find an excuse why we can't just show him through us. And
He could have got down at any point too.
No, I know. He could have
Right.
he snapped his
Boom, yeah.
fingers, angel army in there. Everybody would have been dead in moments. Have been like the end of Lord of the Rings. Just
First swing of the whip.
yeah. I'm done with
I'm
this.
done. I'm out.
And he gave us the easiest way out. Love one another and make disciples. And that's one of my quotes I was having for the other conversation. Is discipleship begins and ends with love.
Yep.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, he gave us the easy end of the stick here. And we still find excuses
Yeah,
why
love
we
him
can't do it.
and love your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. How hard is that?
That's the hardest thing for us to do.
I know. So, actually, I
I don't
heard another.
understand it.
Here's the problem, actually, because we all want to do. A lot of people want to do it, and I heard this great. So Satan's sitting around. He's got his some of his chief demons there with him. He's saying, all right, so we got to, this thing with Jesus didn't go so well. So what are we going to do? And the first demon says, well, we're going to convince people there's no God. He goes, I mean, that'll work on some, but like a lot of people just know God exists. Like, like we know like God exists. So I don't know about that. And the guy goes, all right, how about we convince them that there's no heaven, right? And he goes, oh, well, that'll get some more, right? There'll be some more people. What's the point, right? If there's no heaven, then what's the point of being good? So that'll help. And then the third demon says, I got an even better one. Let's convince them there's no hell. And he goes, okay, because then there's no consequences. They'll just do whatever they want. That'll work on a lot more people. Fourth demon says, you guys are all crazy. I got the best one. Let's convince them there's time.
Yo.
Yep.
That's a good one.
That was like, ooh, dang. Yep. We all, there's time. I can do it tomorrow.
Yep.
I can do it next week.
Yep.
I can do it next month. I'll get right with God. I'll do this. I'll do that Bible study. We all are convinced that we got time.
Yep.
And we all are, but those of us that have done law enforcement and fire service and EMS, how many young people have we seen pass because of that?
You don't even have to be in those fields.
You don't have to be in those
that.
fields to see that. You're right. But like you don't know if you have time. You don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep. That might be, and it's not just your time either.
Right.
That might be the last time you see that person. That might be the
Right.
last time you have a chance to say a word to that
that's
person.
it, man. You never know
Who has the time?
who has the time.
And that's why it says love.
Love.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. In all moments, at all the time.
And it's not just. And when we think of love, and I think this, like for me, this is one of the hardest things. Is I show love. I show love. If you really love them, like God said to love them, you would share the gospel with them.
Right. Right. I mean,
If you love people, how can you let them die and go to hell?
we were talking about a men's Bible study. Like, they should be able to see you're a Christian from a distance. You should be so different in what you do and what you say and your actions that people are just like, that's a Christian. Sorry, Randy, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to make a small little point here that probably doesn't amount to anything. I was just going to say, this whole book, all these chapters, we know God's the all-star in it.
And everything.
And he
And
chose
everything.
he chose to give the devil this much in that book, just for people to know and give the choices to make the choice between the whole book, that big of the book.
Well,
And that's the crazy part about it is you give somebody that much, they can make a disaster of everything.
every
And we
page
don't realize
of it.
that. I mean, we realize that, but we don't exercise that motion of, well, maybe I need to take more than less.
Every page of that though talks about and shows God's love.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Yep. And to a way that the more and more I study it, the more and more I agree with that again, these 66 books, because again, we call it a book, but we got to remember it's 66 books.
66 books.
Written by over 45 different authors over 2,000 years in 3 different countries in 3 different languages.
Yeah.
And yet from page to page, you can find intricacies, coincidences, linkages through it. It shows
one common theme all the way through.
and things that there's no way they could plan into it. There's no way that any human could have planned it in that validates, that verifies, that foretells the story of Christ's coming over and over again. And
The 6 of us could write 6 different books and not tell each other what we're writing, or even tell each other what we're writing, and we still would not have a common theme through all 6.
not at all. Even if we planned it, even if we tried it, it would take us forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be so complicated.
Yeah.
It's impossibly complicated. The cross references that come through here are ridiculous. You start doing, and I know, again, I'm not trying to get crazy deep into it, but you do some of the numerology studies of how many times the number 7 comes up, as this is mentioned only 7 times. This is mentioned only 7 times. I just went through just the book of Matthew, or it was talking about just the Gospels. If you take just the 4 Gospels and you put them next to each other, the words that are unique in each Gospel are multiples of 7. In each gospel. So if you took all the words that are used in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and put them together and you pull aside and there's these many unique words in each one, they're all divisible by 7. The number of words that match in each gospel are also divisible by 7. If you take the genealogies and you go through those and add numbers up, they all divide by 7. You can keep doing these over and over with different books in different places. There's all these, God's fingerprint and signature
Is on
is
everything.
through this entire book from front to back, right? It's crazy.
Go back to Genesis. How many days was it?
7.
7.
Yep.
Right. 6 days, and then on the 7th he rested, because that is the number of perfection.
Yep.
And that's why
7 is the number of completion.
Right,
7 is God's number.
And so that's why when you look through all that and you see the repeating of 7, then God said it's complete. It's
exactly.
done,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. Or you look at the what is it? The line from Adam to Noah and all the names, and you translate the names from Hebrew what they mean, and it actually foretells the coming of Jesus Christ. Now try to convince me that Jewish rabbis wrote the Christian doctrine into their lineage in the that did not happen, right? Yeah. That never happened. Another one that I got to study deeper, but actually the genealogy of David is listed in Moses' writing too, and Moses didn't know, like, the names of the people who lead through the genealogy of David are hidden in Moses. If you take, again, looking at I'm not going to go too deep. Somebody listening probably even knows more, but you can Google it up. That the Obed and Ruth and whoever else, I can't remember all the names, but they are listed in the Old Testament, hidden in there too. And again, this is written hundreds of years before they came by Moses. And so how do you, again,
right.
He couldn't do that. There's no way.
No.
There's absolutely no way it could be planned. So this book is the more you study it, the more you find these unique things that just connect so much together. Again, just studying it for this Christmas stuff, it's just exciting every year to find these new little tidbits of stuff. The number of prophecies that are fulfilled alone in Christ's birth, where he was born, when he was born, what happened when he was born.
That's amazing.
It's you couldn't you couldn't plan it.
Nope.
Only God could plan it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have all this evidence, but we still have a hard time comprehending this.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Or accepting it. There's a whole bunch of people who will say, "Oh, I believe in Christ, but the Bible."
Right.
And it's like, nope, you're wrong. I'm sorry, you're falling away.
But somebody on that TV says something, and you take it as gospel.
Oh, it's 100%.
It's just like, come on, man, are you serious?
Yep.
That's funny you bring up the 7. How many colors are in the rainbow?
7.
7.
That's right.
What about the other rainbow?
And they got more than 7. Or is it 6? They only do 6 in that one.
6. But what was the symbol of the rainbow? Why did we have the rainbow?
God's covenant.
Yep.
God's covenant that he
God's
wouldn't
covenant.
that he's going to burn us next time, not drown us. I'm sorry, that's not what it says, but that's
Somebody's gonna get burned.
yeah. Some people getting burned. Sorry,
White's over there counting the colors out.
That's 7.
He's working it out.
He's like fuchsia.
Violet.
Yep. But there's a reason why, again, in the end, there's 7 churches and there's 7 trumpets and there's 7 judgment bowls. And I mean, there's plenty of 7s that are put right in front of your face. And then I know that God put them in there because there are people like me who are just like, okay, but I need more. I need more to help satiate. And it's there. As deep as you want to go, as far as you want to look into it, you can start finding all these little things that, like I was just also learning, doing the study for the Lord's Supper, the cup that Jesus says. First off, and this blew my mind because I've read it, I've said it a million times. This cup is the new covenant it is the new covenant, is what he says. He does not say anything about the blood. He says, this cup is the new covenant paid in my blood. Right. So again, the whole blood thing, we talked about that a little bit, but that whole bit about how in that dinner, in the Passover meal, the rabbis at that cup, that third cup, they mix water and wine together, and they don't actually have an explanation as to why they do that. It's told to do it. It's part of the feast. They do it, and they don't know why. And it wasn't until Christ was crucified on the cross until that becomes evident as to why. Because when they pierced Christ's side, what comes out is blood and water. Blood mixed with water comes out. And that cup is representing his death for us, the blood and the water mixed together. Yep. Right? And again, that was back at Moses. That was the Passover feast designated to Moses by God, that however many years before, that, hey, at this cup, this is when you got to mix blood and water together, or wine and water together. And then Jesus never did the fourth cup. That fourth cup is the one that's mentioned. That's the cup. That's the marriage supper.
The marriage supper.
That's the marriage supper cup. And he says, I will not drink this cup again until I see you
Yep.
in heaven. He stopped at that third cup and is waiting for that fourth cup. So I didn't study any deeper on that again. I don't have time to study all the little rabbit holes I find in the Bible, but I study them a little ways, and then I was just like, that's just, again, another thing. Just
We don't believe you, Ray.
yeah, I
I'll
know.
tell you though,
You're on and on and on. No.
that blood and water, that's a beautiful thing, you know, because like you hear people all the time, Jesus didn't really die, he passed out, whatever.
Yep. Nope.
But what John wrote is a medical anomaly for us to understand. And the fact that when somebody truly dies, you pierce the heart and blood and water will flow out. So the way
Because
they
you have a
pierce-
sac around your heart that protects
right,
it.
the way they pierced was they came underneath the rib cage and
Yep.
pierced up in.
Yep.
Right, and then that's the blood and water flowed out. And so the fact that that was written before they understood that that's what it meant for death was blood and water flowing. The fact that he wrote that was just
Yep. Yep.
like, no, he didn't.
There is, he didn't just pass out.
He didn't just pass out.
I'm
And
sorry,
then-
nobody didn't not die from
and then-
crucifying.
and
That
then
never happened.
like the sweat drops of blood.
Yep.
You know, like when he's in the garden, and there's 2 times that he sweats blood. I don't know if you.
I know the
have
one. I
realized
don't
this.
remember the second.
If I remember, I think it. I'm trying to remember because it's the one in the garden, and I think as he was walking, there was blood, not just pouring out of the wounds, but there was blood coming out of his pores as well, from sweats of blood, and so when you get stressed so much, your capillaries burst, and that's where drops of blood come through your pores and you're sweating blood is because capillaries have burst. And medically, when that happens, you die
Yeah.
like within minutes.
I was gonna say I've never been that stressed. So I don't know.
Within minutes, and there was a guy
I have
heard.
faith. I don't need to be stressed.
Well, so did he.
Yeah, so did he.
I do.
But yeah, so there, there's so much like medical side of stuff, being medical minded a little bit from the fire and EMS is there's so much medical inside of that you're like, oh yeah, he like this really did happen, and then the eyewitness testimony when he comes back and
I think if anybody had the right to stress out, I think we can let that one.
we can let that one go. Yeah.
We'll just let that one happen.
Yeah.
But
So
What did we even get to your?
Huh? To talk about Christmas? I mean, that's good. We talked some about Christmas.
you can't talk about Christmas without the cross.
Right.
No, no,
That-
you
and
can't.
that's where
you really
I-
can't.
you
You
can't.
shouldn't.
I remember when I was at was it the second church I served at? I think the second church I served at, they had me preach a Christmas service because our pastor was sick, and that was the first Christmas service I ever preached. And I was like, all right, what am I gonna preach on for Christmas? Like, I was like, I'm so tired of just the same old. Here's the manger.
Let's read the story.
Magi come to, and I got up there and I preached on the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ on Christmas, and they were like,
This ain't Easter, buddy.
and that church was so confused. They were like, you got your stories mixed up. I'm like, no, I don't. Like,
No, not at all.
like if it wasn't for the cross, there would be no manger. Like,
Yep. Yep. That's very true. Actually, it's funny. Something that I just remembered from earlier when you were saying that, we're like, yeah, the Magi didn't come during Christmas. Actually, it's funny enough. They could have. That's
they
the one
could
thing
have.
that could have
That's right.
happened
They
that
could have
Christmas.
just 2 years later.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be like God to just be like, actually, it was December
was,
25th, the
yeah.
day they showed up and gave those gifts. They were like, I see what you did there. Because I knew you guys were going to be dumb and pick that day later, so I just made it work out.
Right. Yeah.
Would be even crazier, like, as if you look at it, if it was 3 years. Like, what if Jesus was 3 years when they showed up?
Yep.
3 years of ministry. He was 3 years old when the
3 years old when they
I
showed
don't know
up.
if he was 3. Just saying that would be kind of a
Yep. The most guesses are 2 because of what
2.
Herod says, because he has his scribes search the prophecies and the stars to understand when that star appeared. Because the star, that's the key thing too, is that the star that they followed, it's not like it had just shown up, right? It had been there apparently for a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
That they had seen it before they understood what it meant, read the portents, got ready, made the trip or whatever it was. So yeah, Jesus was definitely not a baby any longer at that point. That's for sure. So
He was a toddler.
Yep. He was a little guy, just a little guy.
It's still perfect.
Yep,
Still perfect.
Yep. But I think, and
Did
it doesn't
he cry?
it doesn't justify what he did. But now I think it actually explains Herod's reaction so much more, though.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, I mean, whatever. It's the Bible, and we understand that we don't get necessarily the full story. We're getting what we need. But that his reaction to going and slaying every child under the age of 2 in Bethlehem at that point. I mean, it's extreme anyway, but now I think it just backs it up. It makes a lot more sense because he was like, oh no, this is serious. If those guys showed up and said the king is here, the king is here. Like, it's real. He took it as 100% real and went and tried to prevent it. And of course, as with all prophecies, you usually end up half fulfilling them by trying to prevent them, because he forced Jesus to flee to Egypt so that the prophecy of my Messiah will come. I will call him out of Egypt.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Is he got called out of Egypt.
Because wasn't that the Herod killing all the babies? That was before the Magi showed up.
No, it was after.
Was it after the Magi showed up?
It's after the Magi don't return, because
That was another one of those.
Because he sent them out there to
That's right.
find
He
them.
sent
He
them
says,
to
hey, you
find
go
him.
find
That's
him and
right.
come back
That's
and tell me where he is, so
Yes.
I can worship him too.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yep.
Right.
And then luckily God warns them and says, don't
Don't
you
go
go back. And
Go,
they said,
go through another.
yep.
Yeah.
And so they left and
That's
went another
another
way.
one of those.
I know.
Like,
Yep. Yep. So that's
yeah.
when Herod went through, and again, of course, and actually even says that they left at night. I mean, it wasn't like oh, we better get out of here. I mean, it sounds like the angel was like, get your things now, go.
Like the Magi showed up, said,
there's a
"Hey,"
reason
and
I gave you
then-
that chest of gold. Get out of here.
Yeah. You follow the Magi out.
Yeah, you get on out
Yeah.
right quick, because you also know that he probably had to, because that type of thing ain't going to go missed. Which house did they visit? I mean, which
Right.
house just had a
Right.
whole entourage of people show up
Right.
at? That one over there? Okay, I know where we're going. But it is kind of interesting to think about, because we have our current mindset, and it's even changed so rapidly. We're old enough to know of a time when you couldn't just get a hold of somebody, right? You call their house, hey, is Daniel home? Nope, he's not here. Be like, all right, I'll call back another time. Tell him I called.
Don't call between 5 and 6.
Yep, right, exactly.
That's dinner.
Yep. Don't call after an 8. Right? You got to know when you can call your friends. And we can just find people like this. But even at that point, it was easier to find people. I mean, again, you go back to the Bible times. There's a reason why Judas had to turn in Christ, because there was a lot of dudes in robes with beards. I mean, like, how do you know who is who? You can't even just draw me a picture of him. Like, it looks like everybody around here. Like,
Sketch artist.
yeah,
Take your iPhone, take a picture.
yeah, right.
Bring
I
back
mean, so it is. I mean, again, I just say that because, like, how could he just disappear to Egypt and nobody knew what happened? Well, everybody could do that back then. I mean, people still disappear now, and they it turns out he was living 2 towns over for 20 years, and his family didn't know. I mean, but back then, again, just how interesting and how crazy everything must have been, because you couldn't just go find me that guy, right? Find me this guy I need. That would have been so difficult,
Couldn't drop a pin.
Yeah, right. You ain't dropping pins. You ain't being like, hey. And communication networks just must have been crazy, and all that stuff. But yeah, again, that fulfills Old Testament prophecy, because it's foretold in the Old Testament that the Savior would be called out of Egypt. So again, that had to happen too, right? It all had to happen, and every single little bit of it. And just interesting to see how again, the different stories, the different accounts of it. Of that Christmas story, of the initial. I mean, Matthew's the one who gives the best account of the kind of the whole story, right? Because the other 3 Gospels kind of focus on different parts, but
yet the Luke one is the one that we read
every
year.
Yep.
Like, if you read the Christmas
It's
account,
true.
it's always Luke.
It's true.
I mean,
It's
we
true.
did it last night at youth for the Christmas party. I read from Luke, because that's the one that talks about the manger and the shepherds.
The manger and the shepherds. Yep. Whereas the other one, the Matthews, has got a little bit more of the sad side, massacre of innocents and all that fun stuff. But I think it's just good to study it. I think it's just good to take this time of year to look it through, to understand. I mean, I even had a discussion with some people at work, because they, of course, throw up like, well, but we know Christmas wasn't really his birthday. I was like, it doesn't matter. This is the day we celebrate it.
Yeah.
Right? Because we don't know what day his birthday is, right? I mean, and it's a silly example, but like we have 2 dogs we adopted that we don't know when their birthdays are. We picked a day, And it's silly to celebrate a dog's birthday, but we just do, right? We give him a little cupcake or something and, buy him a dog bone.
I must not love my dog then.
We celebrate a birthday for our dogs.
Yeah.
Why not?
But us guys don't really keep track of our birthdays.
Huh?
See?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean,
Right.
That is true. I have to look at my driver's license to remind me.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Now, if it was a woman, you would know exactly when her birthday is.
Exactly when it was, right? But I'm just saying, there's nothing wrong with picking a day when you don't know the day, right? If you had an adopted child that you had no idea when they were actually born, you would still pick a day and you would still celebrate on that day. And you
Usually-
wouldn't be like, but that's not really their birthday.
No, but usually that would be on adoption day.
Yeah, it's
Like
true.
you would
Or an
celebrate
adoption
on,
day. Yeah.
You would celebrate that on the
I mean, if
adoption
you
day.
were going to celebrate one, no.
Yeah, right. I think, but I did like the idea of celebrate Jesus' birthday every day, right?
Yeah.
Let's celebrate it every day.
Yep.
So I think it's something we can definitely celebrate. It's a gift that we were given that just keeps on giving.
Yep. And we keep passing it down to generations to generations.
Yep.
Or try to.
Right. I think there's.
I think he's asleep.
He's like, what?
Yes, I think he is.
I do
Wyatt.
see some evidence and signs of movement in the right direction in the younger generations. I mean, there's still a lot of people falling away, and there always will be. But it seems it's not as bad as I thought it would be when I was younger. Looking at how things were in the '90s, and I was just like, it's gonna die. It's gonna die off because it just, as we were talking about a little bit before, it was too weak. It was too watered down. It was too just like, oh, it's okay.
Yep.
But I think when you had people step up in genuineness, and it was real for people,
Yep.
is why it didn't die off.
Yep, it's true.
Right? Is when it's genuine, when it's real for you.
Yeah,
Like-
when you know.
Yeah. And that's what we're seeing in young people is the genuineness of it now is coming back. You know,
And every generation says that.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this generation is just, we're all going to hell.
Yep.
Because we all are. That rap music.
It ain't the way we did it.
Right.
You got to have that true conviction. I mean,
You do.
To
You
be able
do.
to pass it on.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. Let's see. Anything else? Anything else we want to share about Christmas?
What do you think, Wyatt? You excited about Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wyatt, what does Christmas mean to you?
I knew they were going to talk to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
We want to hear it from the mouth of kids. I mean, teenagers.
Yeah, I ain't a kid anymore.
Oh, yeah.
He's a man.
When did you turn 13? No, I'm
Young
just kidding.
man.
He turns 14 in
He
January.
turns 14.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He was soon. Actually, wait, today. Yesterday, it would have been exactly 1 month.
See, I wouldn't have known that for myself.
See, that's twofold right there. You're going to be 14, and you're making him old. See, so there's revenge there.
Yeah, so back to what does Christmas mean to you, Wyatt?
Presents.
Plasma thrusters.
Just say it, Wyatt.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's all good.
I never really thought about it. Like, just like spending time with family, enjoying each other. Like we get to do that like every day, but like it's different.
A little more special about it.
Yeah.
Why is that though? Like, have you ever wondered that? Why is it that holidays like that make that time together more special? Why can't we have that every day?
Well, I think a lot of times, too, is that we set aside that time.
Yeah.
Because, we're busy every day of the week. I mean, we still spend a lot of time together. But I think as like a man, I set that time, that whole day.
Yeah, right.
I don't have anything planned.
Yep.
It's my time to be with the family.
Yep. We focus.
And we focus on that. So that's where I think how that happens.
And it helps that it's I don't want to say legal holiday, but it helps that nothing goes on.
Nothing
that day.
goes on that
Nothing
day.
goes on.
No
Yeah.
focus on outside other
Because
than
I think
family.
back to like when I was a kid, and I don't know if y'all were like this too, but like I felt like we set aside time daily for family stuff, right?
We do.
And like Saturdays, yeah, like we played sports, but that was also family day. And so like we went to each of the sporting events, and then the afternoon was just us as a family. And I don't know. A lot of times now, I don't think that's the case. Now it's so hustle, bustle, run, go here, do
Well,
this.
your sporting events are no longer on just Saturday.
Right.
That is
They're on
true.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, you got
That is true.
all of
There's
this
7
going
days
on.
a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if you're like in travel ball or stuff like that.
Right,
where
and
it's
one's on
every
one side of
day.
town and the other's on the other side of town. So if you got more than one kid, you're like, okay, well, you got to go here and I got to go over there.
Yeah, so
and-
you don't get that complete
Yeah.
family time no more like it used to be when we were in
Right.
sports. It was like one day a week was a game day,
Right.
right?
And
We're
then,
then practice after school.
yeah, and I think practice was only, 2 days a week?
You know, like
and-
for us, it was all week, but it was only like an hour after school.
Well, like before you got into high school. So like when I was in like middle school, junior high,
yeah, for the
or middle school, elementary school, like playing rec league soccer. We only practiced like 2 days a
Right,
week, and then
right,
you had
yeah.
games on Saturday.
Right. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
But it's not like that no more.
no.
We
My
want
wife-
and we want to give our
and-
kids all the experiences. I mean, I get totally get that because trying to do softball with Harmony, so that's 3 days a week, 2 practices and a game, and then or 2 games and a practice, and then she's got church, so that's 2 days a week at least 2, and then she's got American Heritage Girls, that's another day of the week, and also next thing you know, I've only got 1 day of the week where I'm not trying to run her somewhere, right? So it's like
You think we do too much?
I think we can.
Well,
I think we can.
I think everyone wonders what's wrong with the family unit. Well,
Well,
Yeah, I mean, because like a
because we're
lot of
not a
nights
family
too.
anymore.
I mean, to be
Right.
honest with you, like 3 days out of the week that we don't sit down as a family and eat dinner
yeah,
because the martial arts.
yeah,
Getting to that.
Yep.
Well, there's 3 nights out of the week we don't sit down as a family and eat. It's just, I'm hungry when I get home. Let's eat and then take him and go do this and come back and then he eats.
yeah.
So, sometimes that's where it does separate
yeah.
from that family.
Yep, and because it is, we again, and the other thing we got to remember, and this is where unfortunately I think our as men and families we tend to get inverted too quickly as and no offense to our children, but we put our children before our wives too often.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm running Harmony around 6 days a week, where am I running my wife around?
Right.
Where's my day that I was like, oh, this is the day that I've set aside for my wife?
Because when they're growing and out of the house, who's left?
Yeah.
It's back
That's
to
your
you
wife.
and your wife.
Yep, and we were
Because she was there before them too.
right.
And
Yep.
that's
She's going to be
where-
there after them.
Yep.
Because I just started thinking about that. Like Thanksgiving, we always say, "Oh, it's so great because it's family time." Christmas, "Oh, we get to have family time." And I was like, "What about the other 363 days of the year?" Where's like
But we set aside time too. I mean, like,
right?
I'm not trying to say that.
right. No. And,
I'm just saying that we take him. We go hunting trips. We go
right. No,
fishing
which is
trips.
great.
We do.
Yeah.
Every time I've told this to several people, and I think I told you, Daniel. I don't remember now, but once my kids were born, they get to go do all the things that I want to go do too,
Yeah.
and they were involved in everything I would want to go do.
Yeah.
If we went to somebody's house, they'd go with us. If we went to wherever, they'd come with us.
Yeah.
So that's what I did from day one. I'm not saying it's the right thing or the wrong thing, but
Yep.
everything I do in life, I try to involve the kids.
Right.
Sometimes you feel guilty if you don't have them because it's
Right.
like we should be together.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So I mean, even if you do, you get that. I got a day, and then it's like, well, it's not.
I mean, like, don't get me
It's
wrong
not the
either. Like,
same.
we have date nights too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Hey,
You
we're going to
you
go on a
still
date
gotta
night.
have that.
We still got to
Yeah.
have that relationship with Mama.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
You have to
I'm
have
just-
that.
Yeah, I'm just saying on things that everybody should be there, but you think, well, I'm gonna have one day, and then you get there and you're just like, they sure been nice if they were here anyway.
Right.
You're right.
I shouldn't have been
Right.
so selfish on this part.
I know.
I know. And, well,
You get that feeling,
I
but
do.
there's times you want to do something by yourself
Right.
too.
Yeah,
but-
there are.
I feel I got the reminder from God the other day that it's not important. I mean, it is important, but it's not that important because it had been the first time since we moved to Hawaii where we were going to have a day away from Harmony because we literally had nobody to babysit her out there. Like she'd spend hours playing with a friend here or there and come back, but there was never we're going out for a date night or anything like that. We tried a couple times and always fell through. And so this time, Amanda picked up Harmony and she was going to take her for the day and we were going to go out and do stuff. And we got 4 hours in before Harmony was sick and threw. So we got 4 hours of we made it to we finally got ready. We got out, we went out. Luckily I took her out for lunch because I was like, yeah, we'll go out for a lunch and then we'll do dinner later. And we just sat down, ordered food, and we got the phone call. Like, yeah, Harmony just threw up. I'm like, all right, we'll get it to go.
Well, I mean, try to plan those more often.
Yeah, well, that's
You know what I
we
mean?
need
Like
to
do once a month, or do
Yep.
something like that. I mean,
Yep.
there's a lot of us here that could watch Harmony.
Right, I know, and I need to, and we just need to do it like once a week, or that's what we should do is a date night, like once a week with your wife is what you should have.
Yeah.
Right, because that's how important she is. Right, I mean,
right.
you look at the hierarchy. Right, they'll say that it's God, family, and then work at church and all the rest, or church and then work and all the rest of it. But actually, it's God, your wife, then your family, the rest of your family, then church, then everything else.
Yep.
Right. See, there's a reason why we are labeled as the bride of Christ, and then there's a reason why our wives are our bride, and there's a reason why that we are one flesh in front of God, and as I went through on Sunday night, it's just how important that role is between the husband and the wife as a single unit.
Yeah.
And then I think the other piece, the final piece, is then modeling that for our children, for our boys and our girls, so that they know what they should expect and how they should act.
And and we just talked about this. It's funny that you bring this up because me and Crystal talked about this sometime last week or this week. That we feel that sometimes in a marriage, it takes a lot of time. And it is so true. The more time you invest in your marriage, the better it gets. And I'll vouch for that. I mean, I've been married 20 years now, almost 20 years. That it just gets better.
Yeah.
Because you invest so much more into your wife, and it just gets better and better. And I feel that now this generation, or a lot of people, are not showing their spouses like grace, forgiveness, mercy.
Yep.
And I think that that's what's happening with all the divorce rates are just going higher and higher, is because we're not showing what God is showing us.
Right.
To our spouses.
Right. I saw a video, a guy, man on the street video, and he was asking men. He goes up to him and goes, all right, so your mom, your wife, your daughter. And almost to a man, wife was last. Almost to a man. And I was like, well, it was like, those are not good Christian men, if any of them are. Because they were like, well, my daughter comes first, and then my mom, and then, my wife's last. She's replaceable.
Nope.
Nope. Wrong.
No.
But
Wrong.
It's almost the same concept. I mean, we got to take ourselves out of that,
Yeah.
and we got to realize that we're a team.
Because what
it's-
they're forgetting there is they're putting themselves at the top. Because they're
Right.
like, what's my priority? Well, my daughter first, because I want to take care of her. I'm going to raise her.
Right.
I've got to make her right. Blah blah. Again, that's they don't realize it in that hierarchy when they talk about their daughter and their wives or their moms. Two people who again actually probably don't need us. I mean, they do, but you know what I mean. Like again, it's the wife is actually the important one. All of them were backwards. It should be wife.
I'm going to tell you that with time, man, it just gets way better. And I think we watched that video too, like the gardener, right? You got to tend to your garden.
Yep.
We're the gardener.
Yep.
Right. And that's our responsibility to tend to the garden.
It is.
Yep.
It is. It is. Yep. And if you and I guarantee you, if you give yourself over to your wife and you give yourself to 100% being her servant, her servant, taking care of everything she needs, everything she wants, making sure she's safe, she's protected, she's happy, she will return. It improves the feedback. Then all of a sudden the respect comes back.
But I think that's most of our issues is we're man, we can't give over that.
Well, and the problem is we'll be like, she's not showing me respect, so I'm not going to give her that.
Right.
And
That's
then
what
you're
I'm
not
saying.
giving
We-
it, so she won't
we
show the
find those
respect, and it's a
excuses and-
spiral.
It's
It's
a
a
spiral.
downward spiral.
We
You
find
have to
those
die to
excuses.
yourself and say, I don't care if she doesn't give me anything back. I don't care if she's the worst wife ever. You're still supposed to be her servant. And
Exactly.
you trust in God. I actually heard that was the best thing I'd heard is you leave their sin to God,
Right.
and you take care of you. You do you.
Yep.
It's amazing how that die to yourself
Comes up
such
with
always-
it.
such a really high ranking.
is.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
You got to do it and I know it says die to yourself every day, but I'm trying to remind myself, no, it's every moment.
Yeah, it's every moment.
You do it once a day, you'll be better, but you're still going to screw up a lot.
Yeah.
But if you can get that done, everything just
Falls in place.
falls completely in place.
Yep. Yep.
It's just I'm a man. I can't.
Right.
You know, Attitude.
Well, just
That's
forget being a man, Randy.
Well,
Right. Well, and you're gonna have
how about we make that a slogan? Quit being a man.
you're gonna have
Taking our
every.
manhood away. So
That is what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
That
but
would,
you
that
only
would
got
confuse
part
Derek.
of it. But you got part of the story. Like,
Right.
quit being a man, be a servant.
That's right.
Real
Finish it out.
men are servants.
Yes, you're right.
Real men are servants.
Yep.
Yep. That's 100%
That's really
right.
the slogan.
Yep.
And
But
that's not a gender thing. That is what God has commanded.
Yeah.
all you have to
Yep.
look at is what
Yes,
the
sir.
world is teaching, and then just do the opposite of that,
Right.
and you'll be all right. Whatever whatever the world says is okay.
We need that on one of those soundboards, Derek. Our new slogan.
Yep. Yep.
I can make stickers.
All right. Well, it's
Let's talk
on.
about stickers.
I'll put it on a shirt.
I just
We
think-
can
Put it
make
on a
those-
shirt.
Yeah.
I just sit there and think whatever the world would do, and then I don't do that thing.
That needs to be that little wristband.
Spiritual
Like, what would
Debriefing
Jesus
podcast.
do?
Yeah, right.
What would the world do? Because I ain't doing it.
I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we got all over the place, but
We
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
You guys want some finishing quotes? And
There
we
we go.
Absolutely.
I think
Let's
so.
do it.
I think
Finish
so.
this out.
Well, I've got two. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. The way you spend Christmas is far more important than how much you spend.
Amen.
The best Christmas gift is to realize how much you already have.
yep.
That's right.
Amen.
I'm out.
That is good.
Drop a mic.
There you go. Last,
Those are good ones.
I was thinking while we were going around, just to wrap up on that, is that, we talk about how we look forward to that time with family at Christmas. And I think back a little bit to my childhood, and, Christmas morning, we did gifts at the house, right? And then we would go to one set of grandparents. And then we'd go to another set of grandparents. And so while, yes, we spent time with family, we were still hustle and bustle. And it's even worse now, I think, than what it has been, right? Because we're so busy that we've carried our busyness of a regular day over to a day that was meant to be set aside to celebrate something special. And that's why we've lost the true meaning of Christmas, is because it isn't about celebrating special. To the world, it's not about celebrating Jesus. It's about what can I get out of it and how busy can I be? Because that's what Satan wants, is for us to
Right.
be busy,
Yeah.
so that we can't glorify
How
the
many
God
family members did you
who came
visit?
to love us,
How
right?
big was the meal?
Yeah.
And so, this Christmas season, what I want for us to remember as men, and what I want our listeners to remember, is that this season is not about how busy can we be to make sure we visit everybody that we're supposed to visit, but that this season we need to make sure we sit down and take time to tell our kids and grandkids, for those listening, if you have any, of what this really means. Who is Jesus? What does Christmas mean to you? That's what we need to get back to.
You're right, because here's added on to your thing, is that as parents and as grandparents, they put that pressure on there, and they need to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't go see this grandma and this grandpa, and now they're mad, now they won't talk to us. No, like for us, like when Wyatt gets older and he's married, he has his own family now.
Yeah.
If he doesn't come home for Christmas, that's his own family. He's the man of his own family.
Yeah.
It'd be nice for him to come home, but I'm not going to go, if you don't come home, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need to see them, right? We've seen that. And it's the same thing with grandparents. It's the same thing with relatives.
Yeah.
If they keep doing that, they're putting the pressure and the hustle and bustle on you to go see them. But they have to realize that we have our own family now,
Yep.
right?
That's, yep.
And so,
Yep.
and that's what people do.
That's why
And
it
we know
says
that.
you leave your mother and
Yes,
father
you
and
leave them.
cleave to your wife.
And they can't
right?
do that to us no more. They
They can try.
they could try, but we need to stand up as men, right? In our household, and tell them, no, this is my family. This is what we're doing for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, but we'll see you the next day or the week after or whatever.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because, you
Or
can meet
we
with them
may
on
not
any day.
even-
Right. We can see them
like-
any other day, but we don't need to do that. And I have to remember that too, is when my kids get older. Autumn's in college now, and get married sometime down the future. that if she don't want to come home for Christmas or whatever, that's their own family.
And that's where it is, like, for us, because, I mean, I'm 3 hours away from the rest of my family. I mean, mom, dad, brother, sister, they're all down there 3 hours away from me. Brother's actually 4 hours away. And they all meet up at brother's house for Christmas. He's like, why don't you come down? I'm like, because I'm doing my own thing
Yep.
that I can't come down. And for one, you have to tell me, hey, we're doing Christmas, because I didn't know for the last 3 years they've been doing Christmas down there. Right. On Christmas
Well,
Day.
I
You don't
think
even tell
you're
me.
dealing with that
Yeah.
right now in life. Like your kids are now older, married, and they're doing their own separate things.
Yep. I think Hayden is going to be the only one that'll even be around for Christmas.
Yeah.
Now, I think Haley's coming in for Christmas Eve. Hannah and them's already headed down south before then. But, you know, I'm not going to pressure them because I'm going to tell you, I lived that life. I hate this time of year. I love that it's Jesus' birthday. But the hustle bustle Christmas stuff caused me so much heartache in my life.
The expectation to have to see.
I lived it for years. Wake up early at the house. We had Christmas. We had Christmas breakfast at the next one. We had Christmas lunch, back to Christmas dinner, and then to another place. 5 places on Christmas Day. Now, you tell me that you can raise a family and enjoy yourself in that kind of scenario.
Nope.
Not at all.
Yep. We got to realize, too, that even though we're busy, if it has to wait till the next day, that's still God's plan.
That's right.
Because there's probably a purpose why you didn't need to do that for that day. Well, there's a purpose for everything, but I'm saying in your life and your schedule, you don't get it done. There might be a reason why. So there, either God will give you another day to take care of it, or God said it's not that important. So we need to keep that in mind.
Yep.
So slow down, enjoy the
Well,
moment.
I'm glad you brought that up because
and remember.
Yep.
what
Spend time with
Christmas
your
is all
wife.
about. So
She's your gift from God.
she is.
yeah,
Spend time with your kids because they're a gift from God
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
so
Yep. Yep.
And if you make somebody mad because you didn't go see them,
That's
they can
part
get
of God's
over
plan.
it.
Go,
Right.
see
Get
him,
over
go
it.
see him in another day or two.
Right.
They'll
And
be
forgive
all
them too.
Hey, and
Forgive them
here's-
because it's God will deal with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
that's right.
Yep.
We got phones now. You can always.
You can FaceTime.
Right. It's been 6-7 years of Christmases on just video for us with our family because
Yeah.
we were in Hawaii and then here too. I mean, we went and visited them twice over the summer. We're not going up there again. Right? That's 8 hours, 9 hours at best if you could go fast. So yeah. Yep. Just spend time with the ones who are close to you, the ones you love. If you don't have any direct family, go spend time with your Christian brothers and sisters, your church. There's people there.
Yep.
There always are. So
From all of us here at Spiritual Debriefing, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
yeah.
Let's close in prayer, guys.
Yeah.
Father, we thank you so much for tonight and the time that we get together as men, just to share what's on our hearts and what you've pressed upon us, God. We just ask that anything we talk about comes out clear, God, and that it is from you, God, and ultimately that everything that happens here gets returned back to you for your glory, God. Just help us to share your gospel out to those that need it. And in this time of the year of Christmas and the hustle and bustle, help us to remember to slow down, God, and to remember that this is not about us, but this is about you. And the fact that you loved us enough to give up everything you had to come down to reach us where we're at, to save us from our sins. God, we love you. We thank you. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for listening to Spiritual Debriefing, a podcast supported by First Baptist Church Hiwasse. Please like and subscribe to the podcast so you can be notified when we post new episodes, as well as check out our past episodes. We'll be posting new podcasts every other Thursday. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you have questions you'd like us to answer, comments, or feedback on the podcast, please contact us through our social media or email us at dmeadows@fbchiwasse.com. Thank you, and we hope God blesses your day. Still got it.
Oh, sorry, I got on the soapbox.
I was trying to wrap up with that. That's why
I know.
And,
man, you
and then it just
dude,
opened
it
up,
just-
and I was like, ah.
It sparked a pet peeve.
know.
of
All
mine.
good.
Like I was yawning, and I could feel my eyes getting heavy. Wyatt's over there like dozing out.
One was at my house. One was at my grandma's.